All right, we should be live now.
Yep. It just
Did it pop up
yep.
for you?
Yep.
All
I
right,
don't know
cool.
if it's
I see it as well. So we're cool. Hello, everybody.
Yep. Hello everyone on live stream.
Going to be starting here soon. Just waiting. Everyone, I want to make it clear that I am, or not clear, but I want to state it. It's not like it's a command or anything. I'm getting a new router, so soon we will be back to the good old days of just regular live streams, no buffering, just good old fashioned regular podcasting. Until that router breaks and my computer goes down for good.
let's not say that.
I'm
So
going to get.
it still isn't showing up as a link on the YouTube. Oh no, there it is. It just popped up now.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. I'm gonna go get some water. Be right back, and we will start the show.
I guess I should probably pull up Audacity while James is going to get water. Testing. Testing audio, just testing. All right. Now I'm testing audio if I'm mad. Okay, I think I got it.
Hello.
Welcome back.
I'm back. Just since you can't see us, I wanted to make that clear.
Oh yeah, it's kind of hard to remember that they can't see us.
I know. Definitely is. I still do everything same. I have all the hand motions and stuff. That's just natural. But it is definitely like different now that they're not here. I kind of wish I could do a live stream and show everything because I have some new merchandise up on the wall and everything. You guys could see. But alas, that'll have to be next week. Try to edit the website. Can you go to the website and go to the weekly polls tab and just put that link in the video thing? Because mine won't load it because of my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, gotta remember. Oh.
All right.
This
So
this site is so slow.
you're not going to the actual website, right?
Huh?
You're
No,
going
I
to the.
know. I'm talking about Wix. Their interface is just so slow.
I know.
You gotta edit site, right? Oh my god. It is ridiculous how long this like it takes forever to do anything on this thing. It's still loading. There we go. All right. So the changes from your last visit were auto-saved. What's it talking about? All right. So it go to the live looks page, right? I can't hear you if you're talking. Are you? I can't hear anything. And I don't see it going through on the stream either. I heard something there.
Is that working better?
Yes. Now I can hear you.
I think it switched microphones for some reason to my back of my monitor, which you couldn't hear me, obviously. All right. Yeah, go. You should see a video there.
Yeah, it's like a broken link.
What is?
Video player?
Yeah.
All right. What do I?
Do you see the video there with it has the old live look in it?
Well, it has the YouTube. I can't find this video screen.
Yeah, because that link is no longer in use, I think. So just
Okay.
click on that video, and then it should say settings or something. Click settings, and then it should say link to the video or whatever.
Oh, okay. So get rid of that old one.
And then just copy and paste the new one in there, and then click publish, and then so that way, if anybody's trying to get on it via the website, they can.
Got it. Do I have to click something to save it?
Click publish, and that way the site's published it. And then you should click save as well. It might auto save though.
Okay, I think I did it.
All
Maybe.
right, cool.
Guess I can go find out. I don't know. I'm here. I know that. James is here.
That's all you need, right? Welcome to Kosher Talk. I wish we got as many people in the live stream as we do listeners. We'd have a packed house then.
Yeah. I don't know. It usually seems to take people a while to oh, I guess we're not usually.
We just went up a viewer, so someone else joined.
We're also usually not this.
I can look at the participants section.
Getting the live stream going, so I think most people are like, yeah, they're not going to start till 9:30. Hey, look, it works. Okay.
All right. Let's start the show. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Oh.
Do these people actually think it was a new entrance? That's crazy.
What are you talking about?
With Kings Island, I didn't realize that they thought all this.
Oh, there are people that thought it was a new entrance, new coaster, new, yeah. No, some people. I mean, I guess Kings Island is about due for an entrance upgrade, but
so is King's Dominion, though.
Oh, King's Dominion could use a parking lot.
Oh, 100%. So Kings Island's not great either, really.
It's better than King's Dominion.
King's Dominions, yeah, that's true. Kings of Maine is literally half of it's just gravel.
Actually, Kings of Maine would probably be better if they like tore it all up and just made it all gravel. It really would be better.
It might be, yeah.
No, there's no might. It definitely would be. All right. So tonight we actually get to go in order again.
Yeah.
We
We have
don't
guests
record-
on. We normally
Yeah.
record.
We don't record the middle and then the end and then the beginning. I'm tired for some reason. Do you have your Audacity ready?
Let me get it up. I have So it says that there's going to be some kind of announcements this week still with the Six Flags stuff. I just saw that.
What? Where?
On that link you gave me. On the link it says in the park journey things we do know. There will be some kind of announcement this week. Like obviously it's not the video, but
No, that's before the update. Do you see the big red text?
Never mind. So they didn't really know that, then they lied. They said we know there's going to be some sort of announcement, and then there wasn't one.
Well,
so they didn't know
yeah.
that. They're fake news.
They thought they knew that.
They're pretty confident they knew that. I don't like my dogs sometimes. They just walk in my room with no. She just opened my door somehow. 1 second. You doing your podcast? I am. Just open the door.
Oh, this is a weird site. Oh, it starts at 2015. I see.
All right.
You'll love Dollywood. It's an amazing park. It's a really good park. Lightning Rod's really good.
Yeah. Lightning Rod's amazing.
Thunderhead's really good.
Tennessee Tornado.
Actually, yeah.
Tennessee Tornado is amazing.
Tennessee Tornado is okay.
Amazing.
It's okay.
It's amazing.
Fire Chaser Express is really cool. I don't think. I think it's just us right now. I don't know. There's a couple people.
Nobody that wants to talk.
Can be half in the chat. Half in the chat. Half in audio.
All right. Uh, so I'll try to make the Hollywood night stuff longer because this first half of the show I don't think it's gonna be too long.
Oh no, we got enough to talk about with
All right, well then I'll try to make it longer because the second half of the show won't be that long then. Because I mean, you'll talk about SeaWorld passes just a little bit. Please don't go on a huge thing about that. Just a little. We already know you've talked about it.
Were we talking about SeaWorld passes? No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
I know you're talking. I said just, but when we do get to that, since we've talked about that before, I mean, you can definitely, we can both share our thoughts on that, but like, it doesn't need to be like over the top. Because sometimes it'll be like 20, 30 minutes of just the same thing that we've talked about with their passes. So. Employee. All right, so you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Your Audacity's up. Ready?
Yep.
3.
We got a new intro. It's a little bit of a new intro, so you're gonna be happy to hear that. I think I think it's better. Really cool. It's the same intro, like the same us talking and the same music and everything. But I just upgraded the beginning. Kind of sucked because the beginning was like a chain lift that I just like found off the internet, and then I cut it really quickly, and it sounds really bad. So and I got a new one that's really cool. It's a launch coaster. I kind of did it myself, so it sounds kind of cool. So I think when you hear it this Sunday, it'll be exciting.
Okay then. What if I hate it?
Then that sucks for you because I think it's really cool. I'm actually going to listen to it right now one more time. Pumped up.
You gonna listen? You can't play it for us, can you?
I could if I was in control of the OBS. I wonder. I don't know if I can do the. I don't know how you can do this.
Can't you just play it over Discord? Then it'll go on OBS.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know how I can use my speakers as an input device though, which I can't. So how will I play it over Discord then?
I don't know, actually.
I wonder if I can just play it. It's not gonna. At least if I had control of that live stream, it would go through my headphones, and then the headphones is what everyone hears. So
Yeah, I wouldn't hear it though.
yeah, but you could go in the live stream really quickly and listen to it.
Yes, I could. That's all right. Whatever.
You'll just hear it this Sunday, and you'll think it's cool. Or you might go, that sucks, James. I think it sounds really awesome. So it's like a launch going. I'll just explain it to you. So it's like a launch coming, and then like the people's screams get louder and louder. Like it's like within like 5 seconds, and it's like, and you like hear the launch coming, and then it goes past you, but then it's like a robotic sound, and it's like wow, 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 wow. It's really cool. It sounds like a modern radio show, kind of. Sounds like a radio show intro. It doesn't sound like a cheesy podcast that I just made. It sounds actually kind of cool.
But we are a cheesy podcast.
Well, it sounds cool. Yeah, so it changes. Like at least people, at least in the first like 20 seconds, are like, "Ooh, they might be an actually good pod," and then they're like, "Oh no, this sucks." But at least they listen to it for those 20 seconds.
Are you going to Busch Gardens on the 12th?
Me?
Yeah.
On the 12th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going.
Cool. I'll be there. Penguin will be there. Who else got? Does Timmy get?
Timmy,
Alex.
Pam,
Alex.
Yeah.
Oh, Pam won't be going probably. I doubt she'll be coming back up for that. That's next weekend. I don't know. We'll have to meet up though. We'll have a Coaster Talk podcast meetup.
Yeah. I'm telling you one thing. I'm going to be marathoning Alpengeist in Verbolten.
I'll
Pretty
be
much so.
marathoning for Bolton. I'll ride Alpengeist once, maybe twice. No, probably just once.
Geist is not that bad.
It hurts.
Not if you have a high pain tolerance, I guess.
I have a pretty high pain tolerance, I assure
I
you.
knew you were gonna
It's
say
just that's how much pain it puts me in.
that. I don't. I think you have a weird pain sensor then, because it is not that bad.
No, the problem it's just a matter of my head. Like any kind of like anything to my head increases the pressure in my head, and I get headaches. I have a feeling most people, if they had to experience the cranial pressure headaches that I get, I think they'd probably like just want to die. I mean, there's times where I just want to die.
There's times where I just want to die.
Well, anyway,
And that's
get
what
the
we're
show
starting
in
off with
order.
on the start. And there we go, everybody. Welcome to Kosher Talk Podcast. They do need to fix the mid-course. That's definitely an issue. Maybe
What's
we
wrong
will
with
mention that on the show.
Is it
Actually,
so much?
that'll be what the 12th is. No, we'll mention that. No, I guess we should mention that on this week's show because next week it'll be next Sunday. So we should mention that we're going to be at Busch Gardens if anybody's going to be there. Since that'll be the next episode won't be released till next Sunday, so that'll be after we go. So at that point, people will be like, "Oh shit, it already
Yeah.
happened. I can't meet up with them now."
Yeah, sounds good.
Alrighty. The first joke's gonna be, Bob, Kosher Talk wasn't canceled this week, it seems. Are you ready for it? All right.
Sure.
Ready?
Yep. 3, 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kosher Talk Podcast, episode number 88 of the show. It's September 6th, 2020. My name is James.
My name is Bob.
And Bob, the show is still here. We haven't been canceled, it seems.
No, it seems like there was a
All right, ho.
What is this?
Hold up. My audio is like insanely loud. Holy crap.
You're
I did
supposed to
not
test
think
that.
I did. Maybe it's because I'm so close. It's like louder than normal. All right, let me turn my recording volume down here. All right, let me see if that's better. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kosher Talk Podcast. What? Was that louder?
No, I hit the wrong button. Okay. All right, we're good, I think. I
All
hope.
right, I think we should be good too. This is a test for the audio of Kosher Talk Podcast, episode number 88 of the show. Better.
That was an excellent test, James. Bravo.
Gracias, amigo. All right, here we go. You ready? Hello. Test. I'm testing one more time. Hello. I'm testing the audio for Kosher Talk Podcast. I don't know. It's recording like one side really loud now and one side really soft. This is weird. Is my gain off?
I think there's something weird going on with your connection because I've been hearing bits of that static that we heard a while ago. Like not like I heard a little bit of it last week. I'm not hearing it right now, but
yeah, I think it's my audio. It's my headphones. They've been making that noise. I've heard that as well. Hello. Why is it? It's recording one side really loud now, like insanely loud. Yeah, I'm hearing it. I just heard it right there. Hello. Oh my gosh, this is weird.
Stupid Yeti.
Hello. It's not. It is the Yeti actually, but it's because I messed something up here. Hello. Is it maybe if I I don't know. I think I've turned it around, so I think it's hello. I'm testing the audio. All right, I don't know what's going on here. Hello, 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 hello. You see, it's like over here. You can't even hear it because it's only facing this one direction, so it's gonna sound kind of echoey. And then right here, it should sound pretty good, but I don't know why it's not coming through all the way. Hello, this is episode number 75 of blah 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 blah.
I just got a comment on a tweet that I made in 2007.
Was it like a spam? Testing the audio. There we go. All right, there we go. Now it's better. Was it spam?
No, I don't know what it is. It's a link to a YouTube video.
Is the YouTube video sexy? Sorry, that was a test. I just I don't know. First word. Hello, this is episode number 81 of the show. My name is James Barber, and I'm here with Bob K. Mertz.
And Bob is perplexed that somebody is like.
Is it on your? Oh yeah, it's on your main counter, right?
Yeah.
What's the
because
YouTube video?
Talk Bob didn't exist in 2007.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. It was something.
Maybe you foresaw the future. I don't know. Like, let me create this account. I can just foretell in like 13 years, I'm going to create a show with a kid, and we're going to call it Kosher Talk.
How old were you in 2007?
5.
So I just got a reply to a tweet that I made when you were 5 years old. Anyway, all right. Did you get your audio figured out? Are you good to go? Hello? Are you zoning out?
No, I was reading the comments on the. Someone said, "Why would you go to Beach W if the best invert Alpengeist was not open?" Because you've been deprived of parks for like a couple of months now.
Yeah, exactly.
Months on end. That's why I went. Well, Timmy went to Busch Gardens, and because he wanted to ride Loch Ness and Griffin and Invader.
Honestly, Alpengeist is not a requirement for me, but
I am very. That's not a requirement for me, but it's something that I'm 100% that's my most look forward to coaster riding when we go. So
I'm looking most forward to Verbolten. I love Verbolten.
That's my third favorite at the park. Alpengeist is my second, and then of course Apollo's isn't open yet, and Pantheon. I'm excited to get on Verbolten so I can take pictures of Pantheon as well. That's like a big bonus there. So because of that, they might actually be more anticipated now that I think about it. Reopen Pantheon. They never opened it in the first place.
That's true. All right, let's get the show on the road.
All right, yeah, we started there, and then all right, you ready?
Yep. 3, 2.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kosher Talk Podcast. My name is James Barber.
And I'm Bob Mertz.
And this is episode number 88 of the show. It's September 6th, 2020. And as you guys can tell, we have not been canceled.
No, there seems to have been a drive for canceling stuff this week.
Yeah.
It's kind of
whole amusement parks.
Yeah.
We'll be discussing that later on in the show, but that was just
kind of curious how that turned out.
Yeah, we'll be discussing a little bit of that at the later half of the show. First things first, though, of course, talking about some
speaking
news.
Of things, well, I guess this was never canceled. It just never existed. All these people saying that, Kings Island's getting a new coaster at the front entrance. It's going to be like Gatekeeper, and
we're going to get a new front entrance to our park.
And a new front entrance, and all this stuff that was happening because of these flags that were popping up all over the front.
All of these rumors and chatter, and
I mean, what do you mean? It's all fact, right? No.
Yeah. Man, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I know the Dippin' Dots guy. He's my best friend. He told me he released me the info, and he showed me the documents and the blueprints.
the inside track. They had the wing coaster. They had a model of the wing coaster.
Yeah, exactly
No,
right.
so it's been confirmed. Warren County is running $1.2 million worth of water lines. It's an upgrade for
Water
the
coaster?
county.
I'm just
Mhm.
kidding.
Well, I mean,
Technically, maybe. If you're brave enough, it might be.
I don't think this is gonna be a place that humans can go, but, well, what do you know?
If you're brave enough to
Uh,
dig down in there and insert yourself into that atmosphere, maybe.
Cause a
Might
water
be.
main break. They
Yeah,
they would love
exactly.
you.
Go to
Yeah.
jail. A lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There still is speculation, though, on some stuff that was going on around the Son of the Beast station, also known as
yes,
Outpost 5.
exactly.
Um, People have been reporting seeing the lights on and stuff, and then others have shown pictures of them tearing all the electric lines out of the station.
Yes.
I mean, it is what it is. I don't think this necessarily means anything. It
No.
doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna be tearing the place down. It doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna be moving Possessed from Dorney into, uh, Kings Island and, finally giving them their first Intamin. I think
Yeah.
what this means is they know the wiring is not going to be of any value to them even if they decide to use it in the future.
Mhm. Yes.
Because it's highly unlikely that the wiring that was placed in there to begin with is going to be suitable for anything, considering it was
Well,
an RCCA coaster,
mhm.
and it's old as well. It's
Yes.
old.
I
I
know that they
mean,
were using that station as, like, a haunted house for their Halloween Haunt
yeah.
event, I believe. I went through that, so I don't know if they were using the same lighting for that
I
or
mean,
or not.
but see, this is the thing. I can almost assure you the wiring for Son of Beast was actually still in that station. And I would,
Mhm.
just because they're tearing wiring out doesn't mean that it's all of the wiring.
Yeah.
Um, I think people were reading too much into this. I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Especially,
mean,
I mean, Kings Island and Cedar Point, both parks that have, like, a huge fan base, and they're kind of the fan bases that jump to these large conclusions. I remember
yeah,
being at Cedar Point about 2 years ago, 2018, right after they built Steel Vengeance, and a guy, I guess, noticed that we had coaster shirts on or something, came up to us and he's like, "Did you hear?" And I'm like, "Hear what?" And he's like, "Well, there's flags over by what I don't even remember what it was. I think maybe near Magnum or something." And he's like, "That's the new Giga. We're getting a B&M Giga just with like." I'm like, "Why? You guys already have Millennium Forest. Why would you get another Giga coaster?" And he's like, "Oh, it's gonna be dueling. It's gonna go near Millennium Forest. Like they're gonna not duel, but like interact with one another." And I'm like, "All right, this guy." Like it's just that's the kind of
yeah.
fan base that they have that it's almost like they imagine these things happening, and then it's like if it doesn't happen, it's like the world's ending. Like, "Oh my gosh, they were supposed to build a Giga, what the heck?" Or they were
I,
supposed to
s-
do
I
this, do
still
that.
love I still love when Kenny would put out all those fake markers and actually wrote on it like "fold you" and like stuff like that. I forget what they actually wrote, but it was like it was completely targeted
Gotcha.
at the enthusiast and like
Yeah.
um yeah. Yeah, some people know us. They understand it. Yeah, sometimes it gets so like it's fun to speculate and think about this stuff, but oh
Yeah.
my god,
It's
some
fun to
people
come
like
up with
just see it as like,
ideas.
yeah,
Mhm.
but like, oh my god, this is definitely what's happening. Nobody can tell me otherwise. Like, yeah, well,
Now that it's
you know
in
how
my
many
mind,
people
it's
were
happening, yeah.
sure that Cedar Point was getting a new roller coaster for their anniversary? Like,
Oh,
mm,
yeah. Oh, yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
again, similar thing happened there. I remember seeing a tweet. There was, like, a piece of wood or a couple pieces of wood underneath Millennium Forest, and they were like, "It's a GCI wooden coaster, that's what we're getting at Cedar Point." And I'm like, "How does this prove anything?" Like,
I thought that was under Banshee.
no, no,
Maybe it happened there too, but there was
maybe
a,
it
there was
happened
an
at both
incident
parks, but
where
it happened at Cedar Point most definitely as well, because I saw a tweet there, but maybe it
okay.
happened at Banshee as well.
What happened at Banshee, somebody put some wood around the Son of Beast memorial, and people were like, "Oh, it's
Mm,
confirmed. It's an RMC. They're built." And
yeah,
like, no.
mine wasn't
What it
that,
turned out,
yeah.
some employee actually found some old pieces of Son of Beast and actually just put it by the memorial, and like all of a sudden, it's a confirmation that RMC is doing something.
It's just like when the didn't someone wrote Giga in the snow at Kings Island, people were like, "Oh."
Oh
Actually,
no,
yeah,
they
yeah,
wrote
they
it.
did get a Giga, they did get a Giga, but I was like that wasn't anything
There
more
was
than just.
something with the stones at Vortex. Somebody
Oh,
wrote
yeah, that
something
was
with
I was
stones
talking about the snow incident.
oh, snow. There's just been so
There's
many.
been so much. It's just Kings Island. There's just plenty of stories, and that's exactly the point of this. Is that yes, you're gonna have all these news outlets from Kings Island, and they're all gonna be like, "Ooh, new coaster, new," like, because I mean, a lot of them are Kings Island native, so that's like their park that they go to. A lot of these websites that were speculating a new coaster and all of that, I think that's just a little bit of the bias. I mean, the only reason, I mean, you might say, "Oh, well, you guys talk about Busch Gardens Williamsburg getting a new coaster all the time." We only ever talk about that when BGW fans, who is like the gods, they are the true gods of like leaking information. That's the only
They
time we'll
are
ever
really
like, we
good.
might speculate, we might go, "Oh, it would be cool if Busch Gardens got this," or, "Oh, it would be awesome if they got this," but you never hear me and Bob going, "Oh, yeah, they're getting because there's flags up, we're getting the new RMC, like, that's happening at Busch Gar," like, if Busch Gardens fans said, "Hey, they're getting an RMC," me and Bob might go, "Oh,
Well,
alright, they
and
might be getting
we
an RMC,
also
but,
like,
like."
I mean, we also are kinda like, we kinda realize we consider the source, we understand it's a rumor, and it's not like, "Oh my god, this is fact.
Yeah,
This
a lot
is
of these
etched
people are
in
like, "This is
stone." It's
facts, though.
like
It's crazy.
that's the thing
It's
that
crazy.
gets me. It's like, you can have all the theories you want, and you may be right. Yeah, as off the wall as they are, you could be right. Um, I mean, some I laugh at. It's just funny. But, I mean, that's your opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion. But when you start treating it as not your opinion and as a fact, that's where things change a little bit because it's not a fact.
And then here's something actually just reading this, from Coaster Nation, they responded saying, "Our team at Coaster Nation thinks that the water pipe project could just be a deterrent from the real project." And slash or there are multiple projects side by side. There are numerous markers indicating a potential excavation on the edge of the preferred parking lot. So they're still like, even with the park saying that this is a water pipeline construction, they're still like, no, this is
Oh, this wasn't even
deterrent.
I mean, WCPO even talked to Warren County themselves, and Warren County confirmed it is a water line project.
Yes, and this is was
Um,
this comment that Coaster Nation made was after this article had already been, they're like, they updated that and said that Coaster Nation has responded to our findings and says that there might be more that meets the eye. So I
oh,
mean,
wow, I did not read that since I don't know. I mean, yes, theoretically, that's possible. I mean, it would be ingenious for, Kings Island to kinda scheme with Warren County to, like,
yeah,
obscure this project,
it
but,
would be.
I mean
I think all of this would be so much more convincing to me if they hadn't just got a humongous
yeah,
giga
I think
coaster. Like,
that's the big thing.
it's cr and then remove people don't realize, but removing coasters cost money too. Like, people just think that if you remove a coaster, it's like it's free to do. Like, it costs money to get people to come in and demolish the ride, and it's not as much as building one, most definitely. Probably not even close. It's probably the fraction of the cost, but it still costs money to, like, when they remove Vortex, that costs money to remove. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's 2 semi-big projects there, removing a coaster and then adding a huge one. I just I don't know. And then they also commented on the work of Son of Beast. They said the electrical work and light testing around the former Son of Beast site lends several of our members believe that the station may be demolished soon. And that said fans can stay in the loop by visiting Coaster Nation as we update it frequently with the latest developments.
I mean, sure, it could be.
It could be anything. It could be that they're gonna build a replica Son of Beast there. It could be, and they're just getting the new station ready. Like, it could be anything. I could say anything. It could. I don't know. It's
I
just
I
I
I
think it's
would
fun to
like to
speculate, but
see
again, these guys, they're coasternation.com, they are basically stating this as, like, fact, like, they're almost stating it in a way that it's almost like factual
yeah, it's
information,
like
like,
they're, like, digging in their heels, like, somebody calls them out on it, it's like,
and if Coaster
"Whoa."
Nation was like BGW fans where they're, like, reliable every single time they make a rumor, I'd be like, "coasternation.com's got this." But they're the one, I
Yeah,
mean, I've seen them speculate a lot of things, and I'm not trying to bash them, so don't be like, "Oh, Coaster Talk Podcast hates Coaster Nation." I don't. I
no,
don't
I
even
think
really.
they're a great I actually, talked to,
Yeah,
the guy that runs it,
I've
and,
talked
I
with a
mean,
couple
he's a
of.
great guy. It's like, there's a couple people that represent them at different events, they're great people, I have nothing wrong with them.
But I don't think
Yeah,
stating in this instance, at least, stating some of this information as factual is just a little misleading because, I mean,
I mean,
I
yes, this could be this could still be a wing coaster, but I mean, it just doesn't look like it. It really
No,
doesn't
it
look
doesn't.
like it.
It doesn't. And if we're
And
wrong,
it doesn't
we're
make
wrong.
sense because of Orion.
It
If they
doesn't.
hadn't
It
just
really
got
doesn't.
Orion and,
If they hadn't just gone Orion and removed Vortex, I would be like, this is an well, even if they'd removed Vortex without the Orion piece, I would have been like, maybe that could be why they're doing it too. Like, oh, let's remove Vortex as well as let's add a new ride there. But I mean, Orion, the estimates have it up to $30-40 million as a ride. That's just a lot of money to spend and then go, all right, now let's put in multiple $1 million into a new front entrance and a new coaster as well. I could see maybe a new entrance eventually. Maybe that could be
yeah,
part of what they're, doing. I don't know if
King's
it's going to
Island
be a new ride. They could definitely use a new entrance, but I don't know if it's going to be anytime like maybe 5 years or something like that. I don't know if it's going to be anytime like as they're stating it could be like these again. Coaster Nation's kind of stating it could be like tomorrow that they announce this thing or something like
Well, and the
or
other
that it's
thing
happening.
is Cedar Fair themselves has said, they've kind of taken the stance of not doing the same amount of capital expenditures.
Mhm.
So that kind of even, like that kind of makes me think more of like it's going to be a while before we see
Yeah, and as we
something.
talked about on episodes in the past, Cedar Fair also stated that they were going to be focusing more on like their water parks and doing more
Right.
of that stuff
Exactly.
and their family attractions. So it doesn't seem like something they do to be like, all right, we're going to focus on family and water coasters, but then we're going to add a Giga and a new wing coaster to this park. Like that doesn't really fit with what they stated. I think Orion was probably part of their previous investments that they already made before taking that stance. But I mean, now we're talking about, they made that I think that statement was made last year or the year before when we talked about it. So now it would be like almost that they're just going against what they already stated. I believe that was part of their like stock thing where they made that when their investments and they were stating what they're going to start investing in more.
Yeah.
And they said that we're not going to be doing as many high thrill attractions and we're going to be focusing on family and water attractions. So I think it would be a little backwards if one of their parks got two coasters within like a year of each other. That would be crazy, especially huge, large scale, like expensive coasters as well.
Yeah, I certainly don't see this being I mean, if it is a wing coaster, it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
But I don't think this has anything to do with it.
Yeah, we're looking in the future most definitely. Well, sticking with Kings Island a little bit here, we're talking about Carowinds actually, but keep in mind we are still talking a little bit about Kings Island because Carowinds is getting new trains on their Carolina Cyclone attraction, which is an aero looping coaster, and
Well,
those
new to them trains.
new to them exactly. They're actually recreating trains from Vortex at Kings Island, and they're adding them to their Carolina Cyclone ride.
It's kind of interesting though. They're actually taking the body, the
Yes.
fiberglass body of the Vortex trains, and
Mhm,
they're
and they're not.
keeping
Yes.
the chassis from the previous Carolina Cyclone trains
Mhm.
and putting that's just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know if it's because I know they said that the Vortex body was more, like, rounded, and maybe it's because I don't know if it's maybe because they won't fit as well. If you add, like, just the regular Vortex train to the coaster, it might not fit as well. Maybe they're just gonna put the body on and then leave the chassis because
I don't I couldn't see it really making much of a difference. I mean, they're
I
all
don't know, but I
basically
feel
the
like
same.
I did read that, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it or anything, but it is an interesting decision nonetheless, for whatever reason, that they would
It
almost, like,
doesn't
deconstruct part.
make it any easier though that I mean, some people are like, "Oh, well, at least Vortex lives on." I mean, yeah, but no, Vortex is dead. It's gone. Cedar Fair killed it. Um, I mean, sure, yeah, I guess I'm glad, sure, that a part's move. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of
I
indifferent to
mean,
that.
technically, when you ride Carolina Cyclone now, you're riding in what was Vortex. So, I mean, in a way, when you ride Carolina Cyclone, you'll be on Vortex a little bit. You'll be in the train, just like if you bought a train, if you just bought the Vortex train, you put it in your house. If you sat in the car, you'd still be like, "Oh, I'm kind of riding in Vortex a little bit." I'm in the car of Vortex. That's pretty awesome. I mean, the coaster itself obviously is dead, but you're still in a part of Vortex, which is pretty cool. I mean, I'm not stating that what Cedar Fair did was great with the decision to close Vortex or whatever. I don't really wanna get into that right now, but I think it's pretty cool that I mean, if this is the very least they could do, I think, is keeping those alive a little bit, which is, I think, cool.
It was kinda like it was a little bit painful to watch, Carowinds and Kings Island do their little thing on Twitter where they went back and forth to each other, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna give you our vortex trains." I'm like, "Eh, you know what? Don't frame this as something good. You still hurt my feelings." I mean, I don't know. Sure, I guess there's that part of me that's like, "Okay, at least we can say that's a vortex train or something," but I don't know. I'm indifferent. I don't like the kinda, like, masquerading like, "Oh, no, we're saving Vortex." No, no. You killed Vortex. That's what you did.
Yeah, I think that's fair. A quote
It's just kind of a painful story that,
a quote from Don Helbig, though, who's the, area manager for digital marketing at Kings Island, was
he
that
was.
Vortex
I don't think he still is. I think he was.
he still is, I
Is he
believe.
still?
I don't know what he is. His position's changed a couple of times at Kings Island. I know when I went, I thought he was park president for a little bit or general manager as well. So maybe he is, I don't know. But nonetheless, Don Helbig said that Vortex may be gone, but it'll always hold a special place in the heart of Kings Island fans and coaster enthusiasts alike. It is an iconic attraction, the first roller coaster in the world to send riders through 6 inversions on a con It was a big and intense, but it didn't scare families away. From thrill seekers to first-time riders, everyone wanted to ride it. The Vortex trains on the will still be rolling on the rails of the steel track here on the Carolina Cyclone. It will remind us that not just Kings Island fans, but amusement parks everywhere that, hey, a part of Vortex is still here. So, I mean, in that aspect, it is still here, a little bit of it. They're kinda trying to pass it, like, I think, as, like, a marketing, like, "Oh, it's still Vortex," like, especially because 'cause
Yeah.
they're
You know what? You could have also kept the station. That's you were really
well, I
like,
think
that
there's
would
still a
keep
piece
your
of track
bat
still
alive.
up, isn't there? There's still a piece of Vortex track at Kings Island, I believe,
I don't know, but
still.
that station was the original Bat and Vortex and had a lot of
Yeah,
memories, and it
it
was
was iconic.
painful. I mean, it sucked to lose Vortex, but then for them to just go and just demolish the station, like, why couldn't you make that into something or do something with it? I don't know. It's like it's a lot of history gone. A lot of history gone.
Yeah, and I'm sure for someone that's a long time Kings Island visitor, it's even worse.
Yeah.
So, moving off of that now, moving on to something a little bit more happy and more exciting is that, Fly at Phantasialand, which has been a coaster that's been ongoing work for 4 years now, is actually opening up, but not to the public, not to the general public yet, to the employees. So September 7th, as of now, this is leaked information that I don't think was actually supposed to be released. I think it said somewhere. I think people were talking about how it was technically classified information that the park didn't really want people sharing, but somehow this got leaked that the opening for Fly at Fantasyland for the employees will be September 7th, which means that Fly at Fantasyland will be opening eventually, pretty soon at least, to the public, most likely, which is exciting news because Fly has been rumored for a very, very long time. I cannot
Yeah.
imagine, especially for European visitors, how that feels because it would be almost like not the same, but almost be like if Pantheon was announced opening because that's even though it's not been on for 4 years, it's a big ride like that, and we've been waiting, especially for people like me and Bob who that is our home park's big attraction that has yet to open still. So,
Yeah. I think Fly is like it's one of those things, like, I mean, for me, I'm not gonna get there anytime soon, that's for sure, but it's like I don't know, it's such a unique ride that I think everybody's, like, kinda wanting to see how this plays out. This is the new Vekoma, and, obviously, Vekoma had the laydown coaster, which was their flying coaster before.
Flying Dutchman, yeah.
Yeah, the Flying Dutchman. Um, but according to Roller Coaster Tycoon, it was a lay-down coaster, which kinda is you think about it, that's what you did. In the station, you laid down on your back. Um which I love. I love the Flying Dutchman coasters, and I wish
I
they
do
built
too.
more of them. But it's going to be interesting to see. Like, this is the new generation um,
Mhm.
of Vekoma flying coasters. So let's I'm kind of curious to see what happens, see how this works, and see and if this is a big hit, we might actually start seeing it pop up in other places. Likely, I mean, it's possible that even this could be a Disney attraction at some point, because it seems like Disney really works with the Vekoma a lot. So I
Yeah,
wish
so this is
we
the
do need more new Vekomas in the United States.
we
we're
do.
we're, we're
Yeah.
kind of don't have enough. We need to experience these.
Yeah, and so but just for anybody that doesn't know anything about Fly, because again, as Bob stated, this is across the pond, as the English might say, or as the British might say. Uh, This is gonna be the first flying launch coaster in the world, and it's gonna be the longest flying coaster in the world when it opens. So, it's breaking some cool records. It's an indoor attraction as well, so there hasn't been many images captured of it. So this is gonna be an awesome ride. I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've heard a lot of people hyping it up. So I can't wait to see some Europeans review it here soon. I'm sure in the next couple of weeks we'll start to see some reviews. I'm sure we'll get some employees maybe that I mean we obviously got this information that was sent to just employees leaked. So I'm sure there is some sort of employee enthusiast or somewhat coaster fan that's out there. So maybe we'll get a review from them. Even though I believe I read that in the article it's in German. Anybody that's going to go to the show notes and look at this image that we have here, I believe they said somewhere in there it says that there should be no direct comments made on the ride from an employee. So I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know if we're going to see any, but yeah, September 7th. That's when it's going to be opening to employees, and maybe or maybe not get some information on how great the ride is. I'm excited to see what we hear from that.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
So something that's not going to be happening in 2020 though is Six Flags doing their announcements. They're not going to be doing any announcements this year for 2021 attractions.
I mean, Jim Reed Anderson left, so who cares anymore?
Yeah, we're not going to hear at Six Flags. Wow, we're not going to
We're
hear
not
him
gonna
anymore.
we're not gonna see him in space or as a
Or on a yeah
motorcycle.
biker dude, or just see Jim Reed Anderson. It doesn't really matter at this point. It's just seeing Jim Reed Anderson's fantastic. It doesn't even matter what he's doing.
Sure. I he's an interesting guy.
I love
That's
him. I love him. I love his accent. A lot of people don't even realize, but he's from Iraq, I believe. Like he sounds like he's from England or something. I'm sure he had English parents, because Iraq was an English territory for a while, so I'm sure he was English. But it's funny to me that people will be like, "Oh, wait, he's born in Iraq, or it might be Iran, some
yeah,
Middle
I
Eastern country that he was
can't
born in."
remember. I know it was. I forget.
It's funny to me, though. It's funny to me. But yes, Six Flags will not be announcing any
And he was
capital
born in
investments for
Iraq.
2021. Iraq, it was Iraq. All right, that's what I thought.
Baghdad, Iraq in
Yeah.
1959. But his nationality is British.
Yes, I figured that. I figured that indeed.
So that's why
But
he has kind of like that unique accent that is all his own.
yeah, it's not really fully British, but it's not definitely not Middle Eastern either. It's
Yeah.
just Jim Reed Anderson. That's just his own form of his own accent there. He has his own little form of speech. I love it though. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much all of that article. It's just that they're not going to be doing any announcements. Basically, whatever is new for 2020 is now new for 2021. We're not going to see anything new from Six Flags. Well, we might, but they're not going to do any large capital investments. There might be something small here and there that 2021 might bring, but pretty much everything that 2020 was going to offer that didn't open in 2020 will now be 2021.
Yeah, and I think this was kind of expected,
Yeah,
despite all of the rumors that kept popping up on Screamscape and other places. I mean, it just didn't make sense. Like, why are they going to put all this money into an announcement video that they're probably not going to be announcing anything, or they're just re-announcing the same stuff? Um, I don't know. I didn't expect this. I mean, I didn't expect a video to happen. This is kind of what I expected. and
Yeah,
it just completely makes sense. We're in a different time right now with the pandemic and everything.
I agree. I agree 100%. All right, so sticking inside the Six Flags chain a little bit here, though, the park president of Six Flags Over Texas has now vanished, and I say vanished
Yeah,
because there's a couple of theories here. I've asked a couple of my Six Flags Over Texas friends what's up, and I've gotten people saying, "Oh, he retired and he left the company. He's retiring," and then I've also heard other people going, "No, he got fired. The company
yeah.
fired him," and that's pretty two extreme
And there is
polar ends
there is
there.
nothing anywhere. There is
No,
no information anywhere about this.
I had to ask my friends.
The only thing we have is there is literally a job posting for a new park president for Six Flags Over Texas and Hurricane Harbor?
Yeah, Hurricane
Uh,
Arlington, and the thing is, we had to ask my friends what his name was, my sources of information, I'll say, what his name was so that we could actually find anything about him. We found, like, a fandom page that was, talked about him and stuff, but, I
yeah,
mean, we
Steve
looked up Six Flags Over
Martindale.
Texas. Yeah, Steve Martindale's his name. Once you look that up, you have, like, a fandom page that's like a Six Flags fandom page, and he comes up, but we just looked up Six Flags Over Texas park president, and nothing came up with him
And
at
he's
all.
been at Six Flags Over Texas since 1999, and
Yeah, it's
he
been a
in
while.
2007 was when he became the general manager of the park. Um, Before that, he was at Six Flags St. Louis, and then before that, in 1983, he was at Six Flags Atlantis. And no, I don't mean Atlanta. I do mean Six Flags Atlantis, which
Yeah,
I didn't realize was a thing,
was
but
it?
apparently for a very short time, Six Flags had a water park in Hollywood,
Florida,
Florida,
which
which
is right
yeah,
outside of
how many
Orlando.
how many weird names can you screw up here? Hollywood? You think California? No, 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 no. Hollywood, Florida.
The only reason I
Um,
know that is I have someone that lives down there. It's right near Orlando, I believe,
yeah.
so
But yeah, so it was a water park that lasted. I think it was there until 1989,
mhm.
83 to 89. But yeah, he was the operations manager there for 1 year. 1 year. But yeah, I don't know. It's just there's no information about this. It's just Six Flags is saying, "Hey, we need a new park president. Apply within."
Yeah, and from the sources that I asked about him, both said that he really wasn't good for the park. I don't know what that means necessarily, but I
I
heard
don't
that
know. It doesn't
but
seem
I
like a lot of people liked him that much.
no,
They
both
didn't
my
hate
sources said
him.
that they didn't
They
like
just
him.
don't really, I don't know.
And it's
Not like
weird
the
that
rest.
just looking up the it's almost like Six Flags, like, tried to delete as much as possible that they had on him. Because I mean, I really think looking up normally when you look up Six Flags Over Texas Park President, like, if you look up any other park in the chain, you'll find, like, the first thing that'll pop up, it'll say, like, "This guy is the park president of Six Flags," or even, even if he retired, you'd think you'd look him up and they would say, "This guy is stepping down from Six Flags Over Texas. Now here
Right.
comes this other guy," or, "We're looking for someone else right now." There's nothing, though. There's nothing. It's just really weird. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if he quit and they were like, "All right, this guy sucks," or if maybe it was more of that attitude, or if he actually did just get fired, they're like, "Because this guy sucks," but I don't know, it's strange that, yeah, the only information that we have is, I mean, we know his name now due to the sources, and but even before that, all we had was this job application, or this job, applying for this job application, yeah, so it's just strange to me that's it's just a really weird, awkward
Yeah.
situation, it seems,
It's very interesting. Who
to
knows?
say the
But
least, yeah.
if you want to apply, go to the show
W
notes and we'll have
Yeah.
the job posting for you to go view.
Do you wanna be the park president of Six Flags Over Texas? I know that might not interest a lot of you. As enthusiasts, I don't know any of you that wanna be presidents of a park, but, yeah, you can just apply
I
there.
don't know if I want
They
to
have
live
all
in
your key
Texas. It's too
duties and
hot
your
down here.
responsibilities, your skills that you're gonna have to have. Yeah, so I don't know if any of hopefully not hopefully some of our listeners might actually, that'd be kinda cool, but I don't know many of you that might not have 5 or more years of proven senior executive leadership experience, but if you have, again, apply. Show notes. Apply for the job. All right. Well, a little bit more of some positive news again. American Dream will be reopening now. October 1st, the park will reopen. It'll have all the attractions and rides open as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, this is Nickelodeon Universe at American Dream.
Yes, Nickelodeon Universe with the American Dream. I believe American Dream's actually reopened at this point, but Nickelodeon Universe itself, the entity, the theme park that exists within American Dream will be reopening. So, yes, thank you for correcting me there. Actually, something that was stated I just saw on their Facebook page is that I don't know if this matters to anybody out there that might be a frequent visitor there and just hasn't been able to see this, but there is now free parking at the park. So someone said, please have free parking. And they said, parking is going to be free when we reopen. So if you didn't know that, there's something cool. That would be like if Busch Gardens Williamsburg announced free parking or something. We'd be excited. So if any of you haven't seen that, that is now a thing. I don't know if that wasn't a thing before. I don't know how big of a thing that was before, but that is now something that they've
Parking's
stated.
kind of I don't really know the whole details of it, but apparently parking's been interesting at the park. It's also still an expensive park to go to. There also are some hints that Sandy's Blasting Bronco may be opening
Yes.
as well.
I've heard
that's
that,
not
yes.
confirmed, but
I believe it's actually on their website now. Something about it is on their
right.
website that I saw someone post about. So something is going on. I believe it is going to be opening, or if it's not going to be opening with the park, it's going to be opening very soon with the park. You know, maybe after a couple of weeks after the park itself opens. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is exciting stuff because over New Jersey, Great Adventure, excuse me. Wow. Could not think of the name of that park for a second there. That's been reopened for about a month now. So now we are, I think even more than a month actually. So now we have this indoor park opening up. So that's exciting for anybody that's a New Jersey resident and is also a theme park enthusiast that's listening to this show. So you guys are probably
Or
pretty
New
hyped
York
for that.
resident.
New
It's
York,
kind
New
of
Jersey.
New York Metro.
Yeah, it could be either or. It doesn't matter really. That whole area is just its own thing. If you live near New York City, this is exciting. New Jersey or New York, it's exciting stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, that is about it for this half of the show. When we get back from this break, I'm going to discuss my recent trip to Holiday World and to Kings Island, and also we're going to discuss a little bit more of what we were talking about earlier with the cancellation of the podcast, and we're going to talk about how Kentucky Kingdom was going to be canceled there for a little bit, it seemed. We're going to talk about that all.
We were all worried. We were on the edge of our seats, concerned.
We're going to talk about all of that on this break. Let's just mess that up. Onto this break. Record that real quick. After this break.
I wouldn't mind the Axis Coaster replacing Volcano, but I still would rather. Yeah, it definitely would be a worthy replacement. I still want my supersized Merlin's Mayhem with a launch.
After the break.
You still trying to re-record that?
Well, I did re-record it, but it just sounded weird, so I have to do it in the same tone that I was talking in.
And for the next 5 minutes, we're going to listen to James say, after the break.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be mad if the Axis Coaster replaced Volcano. Especially
I still think Launch Typer GTX would be.
Oh my God, yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. Whatever it is, it has to have a launch. That's
it's not going to do it. That's the thing is they're not going to. It's going to be something really bad, and we're all going to be really disappointed.
Yes.
So I don't even know why we bring up this.
I know yeah. I anticipate being disappointed.
Timmy's here. Oh, I just realized that was Timmy. Oh, my thing is not working that well. I couldn't see the I can't see the emblems.
Oh no. Whatever replaces Volcano has to have a launch.
Okay.
It just does.
That's facts. That's just factual.
Yes, exactly.
Kosher Nation talking about Kings Island is not factual, but when Bob says
not
it has
But
it
but
has
whatever
to, god
replaces
dang it, it
Volcano
has to.
it
Has
has to
to.
have a
If it
launch.
doesn't, Bob is going to blow up King's Dominion. That's just we had this on
No,
live
wait,
chat.
let's not make it sound like I'm a terrorist or something. No, I'm not gonna do that. I would just be very, very disappointed.
BGW did not successfully replace Big Bad Wolf, I don't think. Bolton's very good, but it's not Big Bad Wolf. That's my opinion. Did you ride Big Bad Wolf is my
No,
question.
I didn't. But I mean,
Not
it can't.
you. Well, you too, but also Proper Penguin. Yeah, because I mean, Big Bad Wolf was a heck of a ride, man.
This is the thing, though. There's a very different scenario. Like I think Busch Gardens
has a very bad rattle.
Busch Gardens has a bad rattle?
Now Timmy just said Bolton has a rattle, and I said it has a very bad rattle. It does, but I don't think that. I mean, I think it's still a good ride, but
it has a little bit of a rattle.
it's
Like
an insane rattle. It is the.
I don't know. It's not. Well, it's yeah. It's. I don't know. It's not painful though, like some are. It's like it's more of a vibration than the
I don't think any rattles are painful. Like people complain about the B&M's rattle, especially the ones at Kings Island.
Well,
but it's like
the i305 rattle in the back gets me.
The i305 rattle is pretty bad, yeah.
In the back. In the front, I don't feel it at all. But in
the front, it still rattles, but it's not anywhere noticeable at all, really. You can just kind of feel it a little bit. But yeah, in the back, I like it. I still love it. The Intimidator 5 in the back is my favorite, but
yeah. Anyway, before Timmy like sidetracks us, what I was saying is Busch Gardens Busch Gardens handled the Big Bad Wolf situation far better than King's Dominion handled Volcano, and that makes things a lot different.
They had last riders and everything like that.
Yeah, and it was like I think the thing with Big Bad Wolf was they were at a. I don't know. It was more of a. They made a decision that wasn't completely off the rails. I think with Volcano, I don't think King's Dominion. Well, I don't think King's Dominion had any power. I think Cedar Fair just said no, and I think a lot of it had more to do with Intamin than it had to do with anything else.
They don't. They have a Giga and a Hyper. I'm getting tired of that joke. When it's cold, it steel detracts.
It is
so
technically they're both Hypers if you're referring to model name.
Oh well, yeah, and then Carowinds has 2 Hypers too.
See, I think that is redundant because they're both from the same manufacturer. That's I
think Fury and Intimidator 5. I mean, an Intimidator do completely different things, and same with Orion and Diamondback. Diamondback is like basically all
that's the thing with Hershey Park is they're 2 different manufacturers, which makes them completely different things.
But I mean, if you look at them logically, they both do the same thing. They do them differently, 100%. But they're both airtime machines. That's basically that's their purpose to serve. Both hypercruisers are there to serve airtime.
I'm sorry, different manufacturers feel very different. I mean, you can.
But I mean, talking about like GP, they're not going to notice that. They're going to be like, "There's 2 coasters the same height." Like, that's the same way we're going to talk about. Like, Orion and Diamondback.
I hate that.
We know as enthusiasts that Orion and Diamondback are completely different.
I hate that statement though because we underestimate GP all the time, and I think that yes, they're not going to sit there and articulate that to you, but they notice even if it's at a subconscious level.
I especially in the past couple of months, I've been talking with a lot of GP about roller coasters because they're brand new to the concept that they're enthusiasts. I'm in a program right now. I'm not going to specify why or what, but I'm talking to people, and they know nothing about anything. I had to tell them they didn't even know that they didn't even know that they'd been to Universal. She said she lived in Florida for like her entire life. She didn't even know the name of That she didn't even know there were 3 different parks. She thought they were all one. Like, it's crazy how much they little know. So they're not
But
gonna know, "Oh, that felt different than that." And they're just gonna be like, "Oh, it's a roller coaster." Like, it doesn't.
You completely glazed over what I just said.
You said we
I said
underestimate their. I don't think they're gonna notice that
no.
Intamin
That's
and B&M
you
get a
didn't
different
hear
ride
my
experience.
last statement.
Re-emphasize that then. Say it again.
They can't articulate a difference. They can't explain to you any of this. They don't have that knowledge. But instinctively and subconsciously, there's a difference. And they realize it. Some people like one coaster better than the other. They don't know why. They don't understand that, oh, wait, I must like B&Ms better. They just like this group of coasters better. They don't know that, no, but that doesn't mean that it's completely irrelevant to them. It is relevant to them on a subconscious level. They just don't know it consciously.
I don't think so. I think you could easily ride 2 B&M coasters and think they're different too. And then, what is that? Is that a subconscious difference too? I mean, I'm sure a lot of them have ridden Orion and Diamondback and think they're different. And then I'm sure a lot of them have ridden them and thought they're the exact same. So I don't know if I completely agree with that logic, but I understand what you're saying to a degree, but I don't think it
I
applies.
hate that state. I hate this. Enthusiasts treat GP terribly. I mean, like they just underestimate it.
I don't think
It's
there's
just
like a bad thing.
ridiculous.
Like some of them people like think it's like, and like GP should be like taken out in the street and just like shot in a firing squad. Like they just hate GP. Like they have a hatred for them. I don't hate GP at all. I just understand that they don't know anything. Like just if someone said, "Hey James, help me with this," I don't even like like
I'll tell
calculus
you
math or
this.
whatever.
I guarantee you there's a lot of GP that enjoy coasters far more than a lot of enthusiasts. Just because enthusiasts just discount, oh, this coaster has a trim brake. Like a GP will just get on and ride and they enjoy it. An enthusiast can't get over the fact that there's a trim brake and like it just ruins the ride for them.
Or like that there's over the shoulder restraints and it just like ruins the ride for them.
Dude, that is a completely different thing.
Oh my god.
I get headaches. I can't help that I get headaches. That's completely unrelated. That's
I
not.
know. Well, you say that they're the worst coasters of all time, though, based on that, though. Like you said, Rougarou and Firebird are 2 of the worst coasters ever.
Those are, yeah. I can't. They're just terrible. And I mean, there's a lot of people. Well, Firebird. There's few people that really enjoy Firebird.
Ah,
There's a large number of people that despise Firebird. They say it's painful.
I know a couple that like it. And
Why are we talking and not recording?
Rougarou, I like a lot. And I don't know. Whatever. I like to think of GP as an enthusiast. What do you mean by that? Explain a little bit more what you mean. Elaborate on that one. Just like we have different cultures and different races of people, I think it's okay that there's GP and enthusiasts. I think we have differences. We don't know everything.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
I'm not. No,
nothing
but
wrong. Like
I know, but I'm
I
not
just
talking to
hate
you.
how like oh
I'm replying to that. I like to think GP as an enthusiast. Like I don't think we need to like treat them with like, because in that case you're gonna start talking about like, oh, this is an era. Like I literally was talking about Verbolten earlier with them about. I was talking to them about Verbolten and they were like, which one is that again? And I was like, oh, it's the Zaire multi. And I'm like, oh wait, no. It's the gray one. It goes indoors sometimes. And they're like, and I was like, it's near Mock Tower. It's the big blue spiral tower. And they're like, oh yeah, I know that one. Okay. So it's like, I think it's okay that, I mean, they're just not obsessed with them. It's all right.
sometimes I wish I wasn't obsessed with them. I think I'd enjoy coasters more.
You think you'd like Firebird maybe?
No, Firebird just hurts. I can't. There's no way. Like that's. You might convince me to get on Rougarou again. I will never get on Firebird again. I'm not doing it. There's just no way. That hurt. I'm surprised. I'm surprised I lived. Like that. That hurt so bad there's no words to even explain how bad that was the most painful roller coaster ride I ever had in my life. I don't ever wanna relive that.
See, I have that
And
ex
I am like, I'm not sitting here saying you need to tear that coaster down. People enjoy it. Have at it. I am saying that was my worst experience on a coaster,
There we
and
go, I like that way. I like you stating it that way better.
but that's
Well,
how I
before you
felt.
stated it as, like, it's the worst roller coaster of all time, and yeah. Like, my
And
Can Mighty Canadian Mindbuster is my that's the least best that's the worst experience I've ever had on a roller coaster before. I had a stomach cramp coming off of that. I think I'd reride it again, but, that was awful. I've never had a cramp coming off of a coaster before. That was pretty bad.
oh, and I never you've never heard me say that, "Oh, they should tear down Firebird." I've never said that.
I've never said they should tear down
I'm
Mindbuster. I
no,
think they
but
should
that's what I'm saying, like, I'm
they
not
should do something to it.
advocating.
I think it's a terrible ride that I would be happy with if they did something with it, but I don't know if I would, you know, I don't really care that much, I don't they already
No,
have
Six
great
Flags
coasters here.
America is a good park.
My mom dislikes it. I
Mm,
think it's alright. It's an
I
okay
think
park. It's a pretty good
good
park.
park. I like that park. I honestly I have better days there than I do at King's Dominion anymore.
Oh, yeah. The King's Dominion is not a good park, so I
Yeah.
don't
Anyway,
understand, there's, like, 2 different views of King's Dominion too, like, people that come to King's Dominion for the first time, like, love it for some reason, and then, like, us veterans go and we're like, "This is awful." I guess because we know what King's Dominion once was maybe, so we
yeah,
it's a
that's the
little
problem. It's the same with Dorney. I love Dorney Park, but people that grew up in Allentown hate it.
yeah, I know. They're like, "Oh, it used to be so much more traditional and blah, blah, blah." Alright,
But Six Flags gets hate for different reasons, and it's unfair.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom
I'm
real
not
quick.
saying they're not perfect, but Six Flags, I think Six Flags America, the problem with Six Flags America is it's kinda like the echo chamber thing. It's like everybody hears how bad it is, and then they go to it and they expect it to be bad, therefore it is bad. It's not I'm not gonna say it's the greatest park on the face of the earth, but it's not I don't know, it just does not deserve the level of hate that it gets. I mean, they have a solid coaster collection. Yes, a lot of them are older coasters, but it doesn't matter. They're really good. There's a lot of really good coasters there. Superman the Ride, Roar, those are 2 phenomenal coasters. Wild One is amazing, and they still have Batwing, and they still keep it going. They're not, like, abandoning it like Cedar Fair. They're like they recognize that it's part of their and maintenance does an amazing job at that park too. Yes, rides break down, but they also fix them pretty quickly. So that's my thoughts on Six Flags America. I, I don't know. I just it just does not deserve the level of hate that it gets. And like that's the other thing. Maybe before, like you said, it's been a long time. Like a lot of I think sometimes a lot of people just aren't going back to Six Flags. That was a problem with me. Well, not a problem with me, but the thing with me is like after Six Flags Ohio happened and that whole fiasco, like they destroyed my one of my favorite parks. I didn't go back to a Six Flags for well over a decade. It was almost 2 decades before I went back to Six Flags. And actually, it's been Six Flags America is the only park I went back to so far. But I actually think it's a pretty decent park. Like I was kind of shocked. I was like, wow, this is not the Six Flags I remember um, from back in that time. So I think that's the other thing. I think a lot of people just aren't going back, and they're like, maybe Six Flags America was worse back then. I don't know. And that's just what they remember, and they're just floating on that.
It had
I don't know.
the only thing I mean, the park itself isn't great. It's not, like, great landscaping or great theming or anything. It's just kinda like a park with, like, blacktops and, it's nothing
I
bad,
mean,
nothing good really
Six
there in that
Flags.
aspect. Exactly. It's nothing like it's not going to blow your socks off that aspect. So it's an all right park in my eyes. The rides are
They
all
have
right.
they have a really good coaster collection. I mean, they really do.
I wouldn't call it really good. I would call it good. Superman's good. I like Superman a lot. Um, Batwing's pretty good. Roar's pretty good. Wild One's pretty. It's just like pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. I wouldn't say there's really a standout ride there in my mind that like is gonna knock your socks. There's nothing like crazy, insane there. So I'd say it's a good lineup, but I don't. But and the only reason that I have any distaste for it at all is because of the customer service that I had when I went there. It was
And
terrible.
I think that's spotty. Sometimes you get really bad service, sometimes you get
But I've
good
never.
service.
That is the worst customer service I've ever gotten in a park ever. So it has nothing to do with like. Yeah, maybe it is spotty, but like that is just that can't be. I mean, even if I had bad customer, there's a difference between having bad customer service, and I would say that was like just blatantly being a rude person, being a awful human being. So,
I don't know. I've
yeah.
had the last, well, not this last year, but 2019 at Kings Dominion, that's probably been my worst customer service experience so far.
Explain that to me, and let me real quick, just to briefly sum up what happened.
Don't you remember the Outer Hanks thing?
You just said Kings Island.
No, I meant Kings Dominion. If I
What
said
was
Kings
Outer
Island.
Hanks? I
We
was
went to
there.
Outer Hanks and you, like, got your food and, like, I was, like, I was fighting with them. I'm like, "No." They gave me the wrong thing, and then I had to go back and I, like, had to fight with them. I'm like, "Look, here's my receipt." And they're like, "No, that's not what you order." I'm like, "You put it on the receipt. This is what I paid for. I want what I paid for." And they're like, "Well, you can't have it." I'm like, "I need to talk to somebody else." Somebody else comes over and they, like, finally, like, it took me, like, what, 15 minutes, I think, before you were done eating before I went and down. And then I, like, finally went and sat down and everything that I got was actually cold. I think I only ate like one thing and, like, I just threw the rest away. I was
Yeah,
so
but
like
I'd say
that was
even compared to what I experienced, I think that's bad customer service, but I don't think that's being awful human be like, well, this guy was
but
just a boy
see, that is
awful
far worse
person.
than anything that I've personally experienced at Six Flags America. So
I don't think Kings Dominion has that great customer service either. I wouldn't call them great customer service either, so I'm not gonna
they
argue with that. I
used
don't
to be pretty good, but now they're just like, but
Busch
I'm
Gardens really
talking.
has great customer service. That's my favorite, I think. One of my favorite. Holiday World is good customer service. Um, but yeah, I don't think mainstream parks like that aren't gonna have great customer service. But Six Flags America, the guy was just we're like in line and we've been in line for like 20 minutes. And my mom was like, she walks up, she says, "Is there a problem? Do we need to like go somewhere else? Is because I think there's a problem with his register or something." We're like, "Should we go somewhere else? Are you busy? Is this gonna take a while? Because we're gonna get some food and ride and everything." He's like, he's like, I can't remember exactly what he said. My mom would know exactly, but he's something like, "Yeah, something about like, yeah, people being don't you just hate when people are like patient? Isn't that just like you're just being a jerk and sarcastic? We've been waiting for like 20. It's been like a second. If we'd just gotten in line and said that, that would be totally okay response. We've been waiting for like 20 minutes in this line for food. I mean, he's sitting there. We can see him struggling. So we're like, should we go somewhere else? Are we bothering? Is waiting in line going to cause you? Are you unnecessary stress? Should we go to another restaurant? Trying to be a little bit, proactive and kind to him and be like, "Should we just go somewhere else if this is gonna be a problem?" And he's like, "Yeah, we don't just love when people are patient." And he's just being a dick, and he was like smiling, and he was like, "Yeah, like yeah, you got." And it's like, wow, all right, jerk. Like that's just blatantly being a bad person and just being a jerk. That's not just like, oh, we got you the wrong food. Here's something. We can't give you the right food or whatever. Like because they
No,
have some sort of miscommunication behind the register.
I've never had
I
an
would think that something like that, that's almost like a fireable offense, just being blatantly rude to a customer like that, I think.
yeah, yeah,
I
but
don't think what happened with you was probably like a miscommunication and maybe it was a new employee or something. I would assume because that would be something like I would be in that situation. I'd be like, "Oh my god, I don't know if I can give you this. I don't know what's going." Like I'd be like,
the dude
that guy was
walked away from me and I had to, like, go get him. Like, he literally just walked away from me and I'm like, "Hey," like, I had to yell at him.
all
Like,
right.
yeah,
I don't know, but I feel like that was a miscommunication
it
possibly between
wasn't a
like
miscommunication.
between like the
I mean,
manager and
it
the
was
employee.
maybe it was a miscommunication, like why I had to go back, and that's one thing. Like, okay, somebody makes a mistake, that's fine.
Or
But
maybe something with
the
the register,
way,
it messed up and, like, they rung you up differently, and they're like, "No, we rung you up as this." I mean, it could have been something like that. There's variables that could have happened in that situation, and in my situation, it was just, plain and simply, the guy was a dick. The guy was a jerk. Like, that's just it. Like, maybe those guys something messed up, I feel like, with that. There's a possibility. There's something else that happened. Those guys weren't just being like, "We're not gonna give you the right food because we don't want to." Like, it wasn't that. If they were being, like, jerks about it, and they're just like, "Nope, we're not
the
giving you what
dude
you want."
was being an absolute jerk. There's no, like, he was absolutely being a jerk.
So you think he wasn't giving you the right food just for shits and giggles? He's like, "Nope, I'm just not gonna
He
give you
didn't
that."
care. He didn't wanna listen to me.
I
He
would have liked
just
to
didn't care. He wasn't
seen
even
that.
really looking. I kept trying to show him the receipt, he wasn't looking.
I mean, but I don't know. I feel like it's a
I
little different than if he had been, like,
Oh my god.
little different. I don't know. I would have liked to seen that. Been like, because I wasn't really there.
You weren't
I didn't hear what was happening. I just was eating my food.
You
I
even made a comment when I got back. Like, you even said, "Wow, we should have gone somewhere else."
I don't I
'Cause I
seriously,
wanted to go to Madison.
I only remember you walking over and sitting down. I don't remember, like, anything that happened, honestly. I don't know. That's kind of a weird, like, I have a spotty memory, I guess, but yeah.
Well,
I mean, I don't know what happened again. I wasn't, like, I don't remember it, so Outer Hanks has had some bad I remember I was there in Christmastown, I think, and a guy was, like, trying to get a beer, and they were like he started, like, yelling at him and, like, arguing. He's like, "F this, man. Give me my beer." He was like, "Ring it up." They were like, something. Oh, no, it was the guy. I remember. The guy was taking, like, an hour to ring this guy up, and it was, like, a beer, and he was taking, like, and he's like, "Ring me effing up. This is taking way too long. I'm getting a beer. Like, ring me up." And he's like, well, and it was like he's like, "What the F, man?" He's like, started Timmy was there for that one.
yeah, he
So
said it right there. He mentioned it in the
oh,
chat.
yes. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I didn't see that, but yeah, that was they were holding his ID and they were like he's like, "Ring it." He's like, "Ring up my credit card." It was taking him like an hour. It was crazy. It took him like 20 minutes, and he was like, "Dude, give me my effing." So maybe Outer Hanks has some bad customer. I don't know. Maybe they have some bad management there
Yeah,
or something.
King's Dominion's just getting bad. It's
Yeah, I would agree with that, but, like, not like that's Outer Hanks. That's multiple incidents there where, like, it's been, like, to the point where you were yelling at
Oh,
them, and then
I even
he was
had
yelling at
the
them.
incident at Twisted Timbers when, like, I went to the photo thing getting off the ride, and there was only a supervisor there, and I walked up and I was waiting for her to respond to me, and she just, like, looks down at her phone and starts typing on her phone, and I'm like asked, I think I was oh, the kiosk wasn't working, which it never was working, and I'm like, "Hey, can I get this photo?" She turns around and walks away. She just leaves the station. She just left the whole thing by let me like, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, did this girl really just, like, walk away from a customer? Like, I was just I just and I mean, she clearly saw me because when I walked up, she, like, looked you could tell she looked at her phone to kind of avoid, kinda act like she didn't see me, and then as soon as I started talking to her, she just turned and walked away and left. There was nobody else there. And this was a supervisor.
Wow. You didn't, like, go after her? I would've been like, "Hey, what's up, man? Like, what's going on?"
I just whatever. That's just one, like, I don't know. I was just irritated.
Gotcha. Yeah.
We
I
have a
think
show to finish. We could have been recording all this for the show.
I mean, but it wouldn't have fit into the rundown, so I'm gonna
I don't care.
nothing we're talking about makes I care.
We could have made a special edition.
Off topic, but kinda still on topic. It's not off topic because 'cause we're still talking about roller coasters, but not
We
what we were
could have
supposed to be
recorded
talking
it to, like, if we ever feel like taking a week off, we could just post it.
about.
Be like, "Here's our
Coaster
podcast."
talk talks, right?
Yeah.
Alright, here, let's get back into it then. Alright, you ready?
Yeah, so what are we doing first? Hollywood Nights?
I'll talk about Hollywood Nights and Kings Island, yeah.
That's what you're doing first?
Yes, and then we can get into Kentucky Kingdom.
Okay.
Because 'Cause I'll be like, Something I didn't get to attend though, but I wish I did attend was Kentucky Kingdom Keys to the Kingdom because it seems like something. No, it doesn't seem like it. Something major happened. All right, you ready?
Yep. 3, 2.
And we're back from that break. So, as I stated before the break, we're going to be jumping in right now to talking about my trip that I just took to Holiday World in Kings Island. Hollywood Nights was this past weekend. Was supposed to be also, as you may have listened to the previous episode, Indiana Beach as well, but decided when thinking about it that Indiana Beach is 4 hours, and I believe Kings Island was like 2.5 or 3, and I'm like, why did I not think about this? I can go get on Orion, and that's a big new attraction, and then I can talk about it and get my opinion on that ride. So I would love to get to Indiana Beach still. I'm going to most definitely get there when I go back to Holiday World. But Kings Island, especially because we had some friends that were going up there, that seemed like the better decision for me. I was like, I really would love to do that. And then my mom's like, hey, it's left driving too, which was an advantage for her. So I'm going to talk about Hollywood Nights first. This is an event that I am hoping to get to every year for the rest of my life because I love it. It's great. I'm already getting that what we called it last year, post-traumatic Hollywood Nights disorder. I'm already starting to get that, and
Yeah.
that sucks. But the good thing is that it's only a year. It's less than a year away now because of they had this event in August, and now they're doing this, and they're doing the next one in June. So it's less than a year away now. So that's a positive way of looking at it. So let me talk about the event though. So Friday night we get there, and it was kind of weird. They have like this big queue outside the front gate, like a huge like roped area, and that's how you get. You actually, and then you walk into the park. You were there a couple of months ago. Do you remember that huge like roped gate out front?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where they do the
and
temperature check and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah, exactly. Um, so yes, there's that ginormous roped off area, and then what you do is you actually, or at least for the event Hollywood Nights, I don't know how you can again speak to this if it just during normal operation because both times I went to the park, I was there for a special event. So we got in, and so what happened was you actually got like your ticket and information first, then they would kind of like let you go to the guest services area and get your information, get your like pass and everything. And then from there, you would actually walk out of the exit again, walk out of the main like ticket area, and then you'd walk around and then you'd go into another, you go back into like you do like a little bit of a like a 180 turn there and you'd go back into the entrance again and then finally make your way to the like metal not metal, the metal like toll booth where you actually go in and you scan your ticket. It was really
So
strange to me.
that seems kind of counter,
I agree.
like,
I agree.
because you don't want people congregating getting their tickets and stuff if they have a temperature. So why wouldn't you check?
Oh, I have some news for you, Bob. You're gonna be very upset about this. I wasn't too upset about it, but you're gonna be upset about this. They did not take any of the enthusiast temperatures. They did not do
Wow.
temperature checks for us. They did temperature checks for the general public, but the enthusiasts, we did never got temperature checks. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and I
interesting.
didn't even realize that
I mean,
until
well,
after we'd ridden
this
everything. I was like,
I'll
"Wait,
be
we
honest
didn't."
with you. I don't think the temperature checks really are hugely effective
Yeah, I
they
agree.
because they're not no contact. I mean, there's so much bearing on like the ambient temperature and things like that.
Exactly. I mean,
It's not really true
yeah,
to me.
I did a doctor's appointment about a couple of months ago, and they were like, "Your temperature is like 93 right now. You should be dead." And I'm like, "Oh, it's cold outside. Maybe that has something to do with it." Yeah, I don't know, but it was weird. They were like, "Your temperature is 93." Like, then I was with a nurse, and I'm like, "Sorry, I don't know what is that. I can't control. Like, let me warm up. Like, I don't know."
I
But yeah,
actually
it
had
definitely.
that I had the same thing happen going into work one time. I had to I was doing I was video chatting with my niece and nephew, but, like, I
Mhm.
had to s I in the facility I was going into, I wasn't allowed to go in there and, like, go to a conference room or anything like that, so I was literally standing outside, and it was kinda chilly, but, when I finished up with that and I actually went in, they took my temperature, and it was, like, 94, and
Yeah.
they laughed. Like, "Well, you're under the threshold, so whatever."
Yeah. You don't have COVID at least. You might be dying, but
Like,
it's not
that's
from
the thing, like, even
COVID-19.
if you have COVID, you could just sit in your car and blast the AC, and kind of defeated.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not against doing the temperature checks. I think it's an additional check. There's nothing
Well,
wrong with doing it, but
I think the line was really long already. I can't if they did temperature checks. I mean, they are
oh
pretty
yeah,
quick, but if they did temperature checks, I think it would have been really long to get into the park with the event. So I think they were trying to get people through the event, and I think they realized that if they're traveling, a lot of the enthusiasts travel through planes and all that, and they assume, I guess, that we don't have COVID. With the general public, you don't know where they're coming from because they're coming just
well,
from Indiana, so they might have. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what their thought process was. It was just weird to me because me and Timmy, Timmy was on the trip with us. If you watched any of our videos on the YouTube channel, you'll see Timmy was along with me for this trip. We were both like, "Wait a second, we never got temperature checks," and we're like, "Oh yeah, like that's a thing. Yeah, we're supposed to get those." I thought, but we didn't. So obviously, they obviously didn't just forget about those. There was probably a reason, I'm sure, but yeah, we didn't get temperature checks. But
yeah.
moving on from that, because that's a lot about nothing right there for a second there. And once we got in the park, so we're not even in the park yet. We get in the park. Just like last year, we went to Santa's Merry Marketplace. Because of the pandemic, there was no buffet like there was last year, where it was like you got your own food kind of. They would hand you your own food and you just kind of point to what you wanted type of deal, which was effective. It doesn't really bother me. It doesn't really, some people are like, oh my God, no more buffets. It's like, I don't really care that much. Like, as long as I can tell you people what I want, buffet doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter that I can just grab it myself. Self-serve isn't really a big point of emphasis for me. So yeah, we got our food, sat down, and then water park ERT. But the thing is, the reason that water park ERT is such like a wow that happened is because it was raining so much while we were there. And I was like, there's no way they're going to be doing water park ERT. It was the remnants of tropical storm Laura that had just hit like New Orleans, and it was coming up. But really, at that point, it was just like a shower. There was no thunder or lightning. But I'm like, I just don't see them doing it. But because Holiday World is such an awesome park, they're like, we're still going to do water park ERT. Go do it. And they're like, either way, you guys are going to get drenched. Even if you don't do the water rides, you're going to be riding Voyage in the rain, so you're going to get drenched. So we're like, yeah, might as well just get wet on purpose, right? And so we went to the water park, and same thing as last year: Wildebeest, Mammoth, the big wave pool, and Cheetah Chase. Actually, that's the only thing that was different this year was Cheetah Chase. They're new for 2020 launched dueling water coaster. And for some reason, this thing is the first launched water coaster, I believe. That's one of the things they said on there, like statistics about it. And I don't think
Yeah,
that's, I mean, I don't understand how that works because Willoughby's a
the
mammoth.
whole
Both
water
have the
coaster thing is just a
yeah, it's just all, yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
lot
because
of like,
Hershey Park actually said the same thing. It was the first launched water coaster. Like, I don't know.
I don't
Now,
know what
I
it is
guess the
either.
first dueling. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know how they come up with
Uh,
those marketing things.
yeah,
Whatever.
it's all just marketing
It
schemes.
is
So,
different.
whatever.
It's unique.
It's
I know
really
that.
short though. Did you ride it? Did you get to ride it?
No, the water
Uh,
park hadn't. We were there a week before the water park was opening.
all right.
So,
It's really, really short. So, it's really short. Like, it's 20 seconds tops, I think, long. Wildebeest and Mammoth are both rides that are like
yeah.
bunch of airtime hills, and it's like and you're like, wow, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Well, Cheetah Chase is just like snap, it's over, like just like that. You're like, oh my gosh, and then it's like over. It's crazy. It was really strange. I didn't think it was going to be that short. It's fun. I wouldn't say the dueling aspect really plays much into it, other than going up like the launched hill a little bit. That kind of plays into it. And then at one point, you guys do kind of cross, but it's really not like the coasters where you're dueling and you're like, oh, there he is. Let's beat him. It's nothing like that. And I thought it would be more like that. I thought it would be something cool, like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm racing this person. It's not really. It doesn't really play that big of an impact in the ride experience, in my opinion. It's definitely not like a big point. Nobody was like, oh, I'm beating you. Like it wasn't like a
Yeah.
really that thing. It just didn't. And it definitely is. You can definitely tell who's gonna win in the very beginning of the ride, because going up that launch, if the other raft is heavier, they're already, like, 20 feet behind you. So you're already like, "Oh, I've already won this race." Like, it's already over pretty much. So,
Oh, wow.
the dueling aspect doesn't really play into it that much as I'd hoped for, but it was a fun ride, 100%. I really liked it. It was very cold too. Timmy just pointed that out. Again, we do a live look-in every Thursday night at 9 o'clock, and Timmy's actually in our live stream, and he just said it was so cold. It was freezing cold, water. And again,
I
it was
remember that
raining.
from last year, but
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would have
But it was
thought
August. I was like, "Come on,
yeah,
man."
I would have thought
But it
you
was
would
cold
have
because
had
it was raining.
better.
That's why it was so cold.
Okay.
So if it had been the next day, we would have been like, "Oh, this is great," because it was like
Okay, so
85,
it
90
it
degrees.
wasn't necessarily that the water itself was cold. It
Water
was
was I don't know. It might have been that we were just cold as person, and then when the water got on us, we were even colder. But the water did feel really cold. But I think it might have been because of the atmosphere and because it was cold outside because of the rain and stuff. It might have been that. It might have been like if we went on we didn't go Saturday to the water park because we were like, let's ride the coasters, and we already did the water park. We already did all the rides we wanted to do. So we're like, we're not gonna do the water park. But if we had done it, it might have been like, oh, this is nice now. It feels great now that it's hot. So it might have just been the place and time, due to the fact that it was kind of chilly the night that we did the ERT.
Yeah, Timmy just
So
said that he said it felt noticeably colder. The water was noticeably colder
yes,
than the
cheetah
rides.
chase is very cold. Yes.
I wonder why that is. I mean,
And
I
then
know
the
that
funny
they
thing
were
is I actually do you remember going in the wave pool last year and we're like, "Oh, this must be a heated wave pool."
yeah,
Remember that? I don't think it
yeah.
actually because we first went to the park, and first thing we did, I just put my feet in the wave pool, and I'm like, "Oh, this is cold, like, this is." And then we rode all the other water coasters, and then we went back to the wave pool, and I think the wave pool is just a higher temperature. I don't think it's necessarily heated. I think it's just actually that we got in the wave pool, and the other water was colder, and it was colder outside, but when you
Well,
actually got in
yeah,
the water was
so
warmer. It
I
wasn't
don't know
actually
if
that
you
I actually thought it was
remember
heated.
I don't know if you remember Hollywood World. So they kind of explained something about this a little bit. The wave pool was out there in the sunlight during the day.
Yeah.
Um, so they were specifically saying about Cheetah Chase, they were not really sure how well, back when the event was still gonna happen early in the year, they were kinda saying, "Well, we don't know, like, the water may be freezing." Where was it? Did they go to, East Coaster? Is that where
Yes, they were at
I think yeah.
E-Coaster. Yes, they were.
Yeah, and if you remember, she was explaining that all of the water, the holding tank is actually under the station, so it's kinda underground. So they were actually kinda concerned the water was gonna be freezing cold at the beginning of the season, but maybe it stays colder longer. Um, but I think like Mammoth and Wildebeest, you have more surface area for the sun to hit even while the water's in circulation, so that temperature's
Wildebeest
gonna
and Mammoth were
drop.
still pretty cold too. They weren't as cold as Chia Chase, but they were pretty cold.
Right, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, they're still in a holding tank, but there's more
Mhm.
circulation happening because they're such longer rides. That water gets more time in the sun, I guess you might say.
I don't know. I don't know.
Um,
We're looking into it a little bit too much though. I don't know if anybody on the podcast is like, "Ooh, yeah, let's talk more about this, how the water gets warm." Like, all right, well, that was just something I wanted to briefly bring up. That's something I noticed. I don't know if that really won't affect anybody's trip there, most likely, unless you're going in when it's cold. I don't know. But normally when it's cold, the water park isn't gonna be open. So if we'd gone the next day though, it would have been 85 and it would have been great. So after the water park ERT, we ventured over to the Voyage and rode that. I mean, man, great ride, but insane line, crazy line. Especially, I mean, ERT. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying that at all. It was just, it was like wow. Like we were like one of the first groups to like exit. There were still a lot of people in the water park, and we're like, all right, we're one of the first groups to leave the park. We're gonna get first ride on Voyage, and we get over there, and it is already outside of the queue. And I'm like, holy wow, like wow, that was just impressive to me. So that happened pretty much all weekend. I'll probably talk about that later on. But yeah, Friday, Saturday, didn't matter. There was a line for Voyage. Everything else was a walk on. So everything else, Thunderbird, Raven, Legend, you could just walk right onto those. Maybe Legend or Raven might get a little bit of line. Thunderbird never had a line. Raven and Legend might have like a tiny little like 5 minute line, but Voyage had like some points like 45-minute lines, hour lines, which was kind of crazy. But it just seemed like weird because last year we didn't have any of it. Like last year there were a little bit of lines, maybe like 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, not hour. Like it doubled and it's crazy. I don't know if there was just more people there this year. Maybe there was. Maybe people I really thought there wouldn't be because of the pandemic, but maybe more people were like had the same thought process going into this event. Oh, if I go now, there's not gonna be that many people there because it's a pandemic. So maybe everyone thought that and then everyone showed up. But there was a considerable amount. I think it was definitely more packed event than last year, which is kind of crazy to me. Um, yeah, so that was the Friday night. We rode everything, I believe. Voyage, we rode like 4 times. Everything else we rode about 1 or 2. Then that was the night, and then Saturday, we woke up, went to the Give Kids the World event, which was great. I came in 4th place. I just want to, and I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that as Give Kids the World goes for that event, I was in the 4th place position for the amount of money raised. I wasn't 3rd, and then apparently somebody at the last minute must have donated a couple more money to someone else, or some more money to someone else, and I dropped down to 4th. So that was I was a little sad about that, but I'm glad that more money went to Give Kids the World. So yeah, I was the 4th place donor for that. We got ERT on all the coasters in the morning, and Cheetah Chase was also an option for ERT, but me and Timmy didn't really feel like doing that because we just done it. So we just got, I mean, we got 5 rides on Voyage. That was fine. ERT on Voyage in the morning was great because that was just Give Kids the World, and there was only like 50 people for that, which is sad. There should be more people, but whatever. But for ERT for that was great. We got as many rides as we wanted on Voyage, and then we did do Thunderbird once, I believe, as well. Then the day the general public came in, the day started for the park, and lines got long again. The virtual queue system, I don't know. I know when you went, you disliked it, but I loved it. I thought it was a great system. I know they did do
Well,
some changes since when you went.
they
So
removed there were not all the rides were in the virtual
exactly,
queue now, right? Yeah, that made
exactly.
it. I'm sure that
Yeah.
made a big difference. That was the problem because once you got in a virtual line for something, like there was literally nothing you could do. You just kind of sat and did nothing, and the lines just got long.
Mm-hmm. And the good thing about, at least in my opinion, the virtual queue is that you can take pictures, take videos, do things like that while waiting in line for a role. Like we were waiting in line for Voyage, and we're like, all right, let's go take some footage of Legend. Let's go take some footage of Voyage. Let's go do this and that, and go eat and go do that. So you can be waiting in line, and you're not actually waiting in line, which is awesome. The bad thing about this, though, is that sometimes what would happen is you'd wait in the virtual queue, and then you'd get in line for Voyage, and it would still have like a 30-minute line, and you're like, oh my god, now I have to wait an extra. So on top of the
Yeah,
hour and a half I just waited, now I have to wait another half an hour. So it's not really an hour and a half wait. It's 2 hours. So
yeah.
that
The same thing
sometimes
happened to
happened.
us with Voyage.
That was annoying, but that didn't happen that much. That only happened like once or twice, I think, with Voyage. Other times it would only be like a 5-minute wait, like you'd be on the stairs almost.
See, that was almost everything we hit was a
Mhm.
wait when we were there. Like we would wait in the virtual queue and then get in, and we'd have a line there too.
Honestly, I don't think we did anything else Saturday. I think we just did Voyage when the park was open to the general public. I don't think we did any other coasters until later that night for ERT. Because I'm thinking about it, I don't think we did Thunderbird. I don't remember. We didn't wait because I would have imagined that since Voyage is such a long line, we did do Raven. That's a lie. But Raven wasn't packed it up. Raven had like no wait when we did that. That was the only other coaster we did that day on Saturday when the general public were in the park using the online reservation system. Other than that, we did Voyage like 5 or 6 times during. Yeah, I think 5 or 6 times during the day. We just kept getting in Voyage's queue because we're like, let's get as many Voyage rides as we can because it was hard to do it. It was probably worse to try to do it during ERT than it was to do it during the general public because then you could actually just do videos and eat and like I said and shop. And I mean, me and Timmy went to the store and got our shops done. We got our merchandise done. We ate food. We took video. We like completed everything we wanted to do, and then we'd get in line for the coaster. And so that was awesome that we could do that. During ERT, you had to just actually wait in an actual line, just like the regular old park days before the pandemic. Kind of, there were they were supposed to be social distanced, but I mean, enthusiasts weren't really social distancing that much because I mean, half of the people are like, "Oh, May, what's up, man? We're best friends. Let's talk some." So a lot of it was like people weren't social distancing because they all know each other, so they were just like getting in clumps and talking and all that. There was definitely everyone was wearing masks, which was incredible because during the regular day, general public were not wearing masks at all. Like I'd say less than 50% of the general public was wearing their masks. They all had them like around their necks and stuff because you have to have them to get into the park. But it didn't seem like the park was actually enforcing that you have to wear them at all times kind of thing, which was disappointing, I think, because that was something that I think a lot of, as personally, as long as I'm wearing a mask and I feel safe, I'm fine. But I know that there are a lot of people who do want to get to Holiday World and now they're not going to be able to because they're like, oh, they're not wearing their masks properly and they're not making people wear them. So um, that was something that me and Timmy both picked up on. We were in line, I think actually for Liberty Launch, and I look at everybody, I'm like, only like 25% of this queue right now is actually wearing a mask. And I'm wearing a mask on the ride. Like, you don't have to do that. They said you don't really have to do that on the high thrill attractions if you don't want to. But I'm like, I'm wearing it on the ride. And I'm like, and these guys aren't even wearing it in the line. And they're not social distancing. So I was like, all right, whatever. This is weird. But yeah, that's what I noticed with the COVID operations at Holiday World. They do have the hand sanitizers everywhere. All the employees are wearing masks. In that aspect, it's great. But it wasn't a fully like participated event that like they weren't all consistently wearing their masks in terms of the general public. So that was a little disappointing. But I don't know how they enforce that. I don't know if Indiana they have definitely a different mindset in terms of this pandemic. It seems that they kind of everyone seems to think everything. It felt like a normal park day. Like nothing's happening. Like the world's just great and everything's yippity doo dah. So I don't know how you can really like. I mean, even if you had team members that were telling people to wear their masks and hey, wear a mask and hey, wear like I don't know if you'd be able to control because it didn't seem like like majority of people did not seem to care. So I don't know how you like tell people like once they're in the park, wear your mask, like you have to kick out like 75% of the audience. So I don't know how they do that. So in a way, I don't think it's really Holiday World's fault. I think it's more of the people that are attending the parks.
Well, once you start
mindset.
kicking people out, people will say, "Oh wait, they're serious," and listen more.
I mean, but I'm telling you that it wouldn't be like see with like some parks, it's like most of the people are wearing their masks already. So if you do kick someone out, then even the people that weren't like, I'm not going to wear a mask are now going to wear the mask. But Holiday World's like you'd have to kick out like you'd kick out everybody. Like everybody in that park would have to be almost kicked out in order like because
No, that's what I'm saying. Once you make an example of a good number of those people would say, "Oh wait, I'm not going to get kicked out." Obviously, they're serious about this. I'm going to put my mask on so I don't get kicked out.
I don't know.
But until
I don't
you
know if they would.
threaten that,
But until the entire but that's the thing, who do you kick out? Do you just pick just pick and choose like, "Oh, that guy's not wearing just kick him out." And then like, what about the other people? It's just like, I don't know. You just have to be kicking out a lot of people, I think. Because
you
I
got
still think even after they do that, even after they have announced that, at this point they've announced that masks have to be worn at all times in the park. And unless you're inside, I think eating, or if you're riding a ride, they have to be on. And still nobody's so how do you like now that you've said that and that you've said like people will be I think they even
then
stated that people
then there's consequences. If you don't have consequences, then there's no point in the rule enforcement is pointless. You can't enforce rules without consequences.
but it's just like if you got in trouble, if like a whole entire class in school got in trouble, like how do you pick and choose who to
You
discipline? It's like
punish the whole class then.
so you're saying, but that's what I'm saying. Is that like you kick out the entire park or what? Or you tell everyone to leave?
If they're all gonna refuse, yeah.
All right, yeah. See, that's just I don't see them doing that. So I don't know. That's just what I noticed with the COVID operations at Holiday World on my recent trip. So yeah, we finished up Saturday with our ERT. That was great. We got Last Show of the Night on oh, what did we get? We were about to get Last Show of the Night on Thunderbird actually, and then it broke down. And then as soon as we got out of queue and started walking back to the front of the park, we heard it launch and we heard people screaming. And we're like, there we go. Thank you. But at that point, there was already a team member out there who was like turning people away. So you could exit, but you couldn't return, which sucked because I was like, oh, we should go back. And it's like, nope, you can't. Yeah. So that was basically our couple of days at Hollywood. It was fantastic. I love that park so much. Great. I got some great merch. I got some new nano coasters. I got some new shirts. I got some new, different pins and things of that nature. Some new postcards. Just a bunch of new great stuff. And so yeah, that was Holiday World in a nutshell, pretty much. The 2 days there we spent were fantastic. Voyage is still my number one favorite roller coaster. Thunderbird is actually now my second favorite roller coaster in the park. It was Legend there for a while, but now Thunderbird has taken over because Thunderbird, man, a front row ride in that thing, especially at night, was insane. It was intense too. Like the launch was crazy intense, and then that inline twist at the end. I don't remember it being that like intense, but like I think I even told Timmy I actually grayed out on it, which might have been because I was dehydrated, but it still happened. So Legend was great. I actually think it's actually my least favorite coaster in the park now, though, as I have Raven in front of it again. I rode Legend the first day we went, and I was like, all right, Legend is amazing. It might actually be better than Raven. So I moved in front of Raven. And then I rerode Raven at night, and I was like, wow, that has way more airtime than I remember. Actually, I do like it more than Legend. So yeah, that happened. I shuffled my rankings around a little bit, but as it stands now, it's Voyage, then Thunderbird, then Legend, then Raven, and all of those coasters. All of the last three I listed are very close, except Voyage. Voyage is number one. That's way up there. So yes, that was my Holiday World trip. After that, I woke up and we went to Kings Island, a park that wasn't really planned to be going to anytime soon. Maybe next year was my thought process on that. And I was like, someone had mentioned some of our friends that we were hanging out with, hey, we're going to Kings Island tomorrow. Well, you should come. And I'm like, this isn't Kings Island. Isn't that kind of far away? Like, isn't that further away than Indiana Beach? I thought maybe it was like 4.5 hours away, something like that. And they're like, no, it's 2.5, 3 hours. And I'm like, whoa, why did I not think of this? Why did I not think about going and getting on Orion? It's so close. So we did that. And I would have liked to get to Indiana Beach too. If it had more days, I would have done both parks, but I chose Kings Island, and both me and Timmy actually made that decision that Kings Island was the park that we wanted to get to a little bit more. Get on Orion, re-ride Mystic Timbers, re-ride Banshee, re-ride Diamondback, and we got on all of those. We didn't get on Beast because I was like, it's daytime, and Beast is. I don't want to ruin my last rides I got on Beast were night rides. They were great, so good. And then I rode it during the day earlier in that trip, and I didn't really like it during the day. I thought it was all right. It was good, but it wasn't anything like mind-boggling insanity. So I didn't really want to get on it during the day, and it was also like a 2-hour wait. So I'm like, I'm not gonna. Even if it was a short wait, I would have been like, oh yeah, let's just get on Beast real quick. But it was like a 2-hour wait, so I'm like, I'm not gonna wait for that. So yeah, we got an Orion, fantastic ride, very good attraction, much better than people are making it out to be. A lot of people are giving it a lot of hate, and I think it's undeserved. I think it's a very good Giga Coaster. I think it has some good airtime. I think it's fast. I like the wave turn. A lot of people are like, oh, the wave turn is just a glorified, bank turn. It is not. It's a very fun element. It's not insane, crazy, anything like that, but it's very fun element. And I liked the airtime moment it has at the very end of the ride, like that ejector speed hill it has. I like that a lot. I just like the ride. I thought it was very good, and I thought it was. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's really rattly." I thought it was pretty much butter smooth. There is not that much of a rattle. There is a rattle, just like every B&M coaster has a rattle. Pretty much every roller coaster has some sort of you'll kind of feel it shaking a little bit. That's just the nature of how things go. Orion's rattle was not that significant in comparison to Diamondback or Banshee or anything like that. It's just the same. It's a little bit. I think it's actually less. I think it probably has the least amount of rattle in the entire park. I think Diamondback probably is the second most, or the first most, then Banshee, then I'd say Orion in terms of the B&M coasters. I thought Orion was spectacular. I thought it was really good. I don't think that a lot of people were like, oh, rattle, rattle, rattle. It's just not that bad. I did get a chance to ride Mystic Timbers, Bob's favorite roller coaster, which was excellent. I really enjoyed that again. As I remembered, I loved it.
It's my second favorite now.
It was your favorite roller coaster.
It was.
Yeah. It was great. I really liked it. I know you're gonna be mad. I still think Texas Stingray is just a tad bit better, but I loved it so much. It was still really good. And I got on Banshee again, which I love. I don't know. I rode it with a bunch of my friends, and they all, even Timmy, to a degree, didn't think it was that great. They thought it was pretty good. And I'm like, how do you like? That's amazing. It's an amazing ride, and I don't understand how. I don't understand
think
the
it's a phenomenal invert.
I do as well. It's my favorite invert. It's so good. It's intense. It has some great inversions. It's pretty smooth. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of rattle, but I think there's a difference between having a rattle and being rough. I don't really call any coaster rough. There's only a certain rides that I reserve that for, like very minimal rides that I reserve that term rough for. Even my least favorite, even Canadian Mindbuster to a degree, it's a little rough, but I wouldn't say it's like unbearably rough. I just had a stomach cramp coming off of it because it was so uncomfortable. Banshee was fantastic. I mean, it was great. I really liked it. And for a while there, everyone loved it too. I don't know what happened. Like for a really long time, Banshee was considered the best invert. Everyone was like, it's the best invert. It's better than Montu. It's better than that. It's better than this. And now all of a sudden, it's completely opposite. Everyone hates it. Everyone's like,
I don't know. I think it's
I've heard a lot.
ton of people seem.
At least my peers, at least my group that I'm, Instagram. I'm on the Instagram community more. You're more on the Twitter.
Yeah. Let's talk about Instagram.
Yeah, let's get into that because that's about it for Kings Island. Diamondback, I'm gonna state real quick, was fine. It's better than I remembered actually. I moved it up a little bit in my rankings, and that was pretty much Kings Island. I enjoyed my day there. But yeah, let's talk about Instagram a little bit. Let's talk about what happened down the road from Kings Island at Kentucky Kingdom. Right. So we're getting there. That was an event that I could have gone to, Keys of the Kingdom. I decided not to. A little disappointed I didn't now because I would have loved to have seen this in person. But
this enthusiast drama stuff is.
This isn't even drama. This is just attention seeking.
No, this was drama.
But I mean, I consider drama when it's between two different enthusiasts. This is just attention.
This was entertaining drama.
Yeah, well, it's entertainment. I will agree with that. That's how I'll describe this.
So, yeah, I guess we should start by this.
I'm not. I would rather not specify the individual's name
Yeah,
because
you
I
could
don't want
probably
to give them
find it
the
out pretty
attention.
easily, but yeah.
Yeah, you probably already know. I don't want to give them the attention, and I don't want to give them any. Oh, let's go check this guy out and follow him. And I don't want to start any drama within it. I don't. Oh, Coach, here, Coach Pocket. They were mentioning you and calling you out and blah blah blah. We're just gonna say the individual.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
individual went to Kentucky Kingdom, Keys of the Kingdom, and I'll let Bob explain a little bit more. But pretty much what happened, sum it up quickly as possible, is he was called for cutting the line, and Kentucky Kingdom security team came, escorted him out. Actually, escorted him to their security headquarters where they briefed him on what was happening. Then they escorted him out, according to his own story.
yeah. Yeah, that and that's the thing. It's like if you there's not a like written like there's not a single like go to this URL to find the exactly what happened.
Yeah,
It's bits and pieces from everywhere. But here's the thing. Let's just start with this. How often do you actually see somebody getting kicked out of a park? If somebody's getting kicked out of a park, they generally did something to raise the attention of
think of how much
park
effort has to go
security.
into that. Yeah, think about how much
Yeah,
effort the park has to
they
go
don't want
into
to do
get their
that. Like,
security team to leave wherever they were at to go to a line. And you think, and the way he said it, is almost like I've used this metaphor a couple of times when doing that. It's almost like when you get in trouble at school and you tell your mom, "I didn't do anything, mom. They just suspended me. I didn't do anything." You
right.
did something.
Yeah,
You did something.
right. Something
Even
happened.
if you taught your brain or even if you tricked your brain into thinking you didn't do anything, you did something. You didn't the teacher didn't just go
Something
to the
happened.
principal's office, "We're suspending you." That doesn't happen. You
Right.
said something, you initiated something, you did something. So
Now, I
is
I will also say sometimes people get unfairly punished.
yes, I agree.
That
I have
happens,
been in circumstances, yes.
but well, first of all, there is a history,
Exactly.
that's
Yeah,
been that's kind of come out. This isn't
it's
necessarily
not
an
a
isolated
isolated
incident.
incident.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not
But,
something once.
I mean, for the honestly, like, park security just doesn't move in like this. Like, that's just and especially, kicking an enthusiast out, generally, especially Kentucky Kingdom, they love enthusiasts. Like,
Exactly.
they're the last park that I would see coming in and going, "Oh, an enthusiast, let's kick them out."
Exactly.
I would see them giving every benefit of the doubt to
This is a park that just hosted an event for enthusiasts, solely for enthusiasts. Like, they created this event. You don't have to be part of a club. You don't have to be anything special. You could literally be any enthusiast can just go to the park and do this awesome event, get a bunch of ERT. No park that dislikes enthusiasts is gonna create this. Yes, there are parks that dislike enthusiasts that are gonna maybe let an ACE event happen or let a Coaster Crew event happen, even if they generally are like, "Eh, we're not that enthusiast friendly," just because, ACE is a well-known organization. But this is an event that you don't have to be a part of, and you could just be a rando enthusiast and just show up to their park. It doesn't matter because you don't have to sign up, and Keys of the Kingdom happen. And that's just something that a park that generally dislikes enthusiasts isn't gonna do. So I think that shows right there, that should show you the credibility that Kentucky Kingdom deserves because they're not gonna just randomly be like, ha, 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 ha. This guy got out of" his statement was, "Oh, I" he made it seem so innocent, like, "Oh, I stepped out of the queue for 5 seconds and took a photo and then got back in line." I don't know anybody that's gonna see that as even the general public is not gonna see that and go, "Oh, that guy just cut in line." They're gonna be like, "Oh, he just took a photo." Like, nobody's gonna go, "Let's report him to security for that." Like, that's just not how like, nobody is that. I mean, unless you're, like, an awful human and you're like, "Let's just oh, you gotta, like" you're not just gonna randomly be like, "Hey, he just got out of line for, like, 5 seconds. Let's call security over and get him kicked out of the park for line cutting." I mean, that's just not something that's how he made it sound like somebody in line just basically called him out for getting out of line for 5 seconds and taking a quick little picture, and then he got back in line and was kicked out of the park, like, "Oh, I got kicked out of the park for" it just seems like what I would do, and I know a lot of you as well, probably Bob, as a kid would do when you got in trouble at school. "Mom, I swear I did nothing." Like, you convince yourself that you actually did nothing. Your story in your head is that you did nothing. But you did something. The school didn't just do even if you didn't do something that you think was that bad, You did something that initiated the action taken,
I
you
don't know.
know?
The only time I got into trouble really bad at school, I actually turned myself in. So I don't know that
Alright.
I'd.
So you never in your life told your mom, "I didn't do anything?" And when you got to show any
Oh, I'm not
circumstance,
saying that. I'm
school,
saying with school. I'm saying with school. I
alright,
like I
school,
yeah.
summer camp, daycare, I don't know,
Yeah.
job, I don't know anything, but, like, there's been that incident where you've kind of like, "I just didn't do anything." And even though you did do something, it's just this is just a weird circumstance. But the reason that we love this so much, and the reason that I truly believe that now looking at it even more into depth, I believe that it's actually a bunch of bullcrap and malarkey is that not King's Island, Kentucky Kingdom actually called out this individual by naming next year's event Keys to the Canceled Kingdom. That shows me right there that because of all of this drama, the individual was trying to get Kentucky Kingdom canceled, and he was using the hashtag, Kentucky canceled, and he was trying to basically get people to stop going to the park, as if a small Instagram page on that social media platform could ever just stop people from going to that park, if as if that could even happen. It's just hilarious, and the fact that they're naming their event after that just shows me that they understand that this is a joke and that they didn't do anything wrong. I mean, if they did something wrong, they would have issued an apology and issued a something that like, oh, we realize that we were wronging. But the fact that they're standing by their decision by calling it that, I think that's what they're showing us by naming that event that.
Yeah. That's This seems to be the case. And the best part about it is they said that park rules do apply for Keys to the Cancel Kingdom 2021.
Just in case any of you thought that being an enthusiast means that you can cut in line or do whatever you want, that's not the case. A lot of enthusiasts seem to think that sometimes. I don't know. That individual might not have actually thought that. It might have been just a misunderstanding, or maybe it's just being a jerk. But some enthusiasts do seem to think oh, I'm an ace, so I get like that means something to somebody. Like that's like you're like a god now that you can just like do whatever you want in a park. That's not how it works. So yeah, park rules still apply. Kentucky Kingdom. 2021, Keys to the Cancel Kingdom. That's an event that I will definitely be going to. I can tell you that. I love that so much.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
So, moving on now. Moving on to the very last subject of the night's show of today's show is, should SeaWorld parks move to the route of season passes? So what we mean by that is SeaWorld San Antonio just announced a couple of weeks ago that they were moving to the season pass route and that they were actually doing year-round operations as well. And based on that, we asked the audience, do you guys think that there should be season passes at SeaWorld parks? Not necessarily do you think that we should cancel the membership plans, because I know there are some people that still like memberships and might want to do that, but should there also be a season pass option with the SeaWorld parks? And our response was 21 votes yes, 5 votes no. So 81% said yes, and 19% said no. So we got a considerable response there. We didn't get any write-ins, I don't think, anybody explaining their decision really. But I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory why they want that. Um, the yes, I don't know why you wouldn't want an option though. I don't know why the no's, maybe they just like the memberships and they're like, I don't really care about the season pass route at all. But I feel like, well, I don't understand the problem with doing a two pass system. Doing a season pass and a
Yeah,
membership
it works
system.
well for Six Flags.
Yeah,
And I mean, it's
exactly.
the only reason why I still get. I mean, I didn't this year, but it's the only reason why I still get a Six Flags. I wouldn't pay monthly for Six Flags, and I'm really debating whether I want to continue paying monthly for SeaWorld too. Um,
Mhm.
the season pass thing is just so much cleaner, and it's not like, I don't know. It's easier to track your finances and stuff. I don't like
Yeah,
this membership stuff at
and the
all.
membership stuff is, like, almost like you're obliged to pay for all this extra stuff that you don't necessarily want.
Yeah,
It's, like, kinda ludicrous, like, "Here, do you want Bush Bucks? No. Here, do you want a 20% discount at the shop? Nope. Do you want this perk? Nope, I don't want any of this stuff. I just wanna get in the park. I just wanna have free parking, get in the park, and I want to be able to go to all your parks." But instead of just being able to do that with a one pass, you have to upgrade to this insane tier membership where it's what is it? How much is it? Like 300, 400 bucks? It's crazy.
It's 300. Well, Busch Gardens, the Platinum Pass, if you add it up, it's 362. It's 360 some dollars
Yeah.
a year. It's just an insane amount of money. And I mean, for a while there, I was like, you know what? I feel like, SeaWorld's adding new rides. I feel like I want to support them and I want to pit, but there's a point where it just gets ridiculous and you just, I don't know. They're kind of hitting that point. And then just the way I've been treated through the pandemic and stuff, I don't know. I just don't, I question the value.
Yeah, and I don't, no amount of Bush Bucks or cut the line passes or anything is worth $350. I don't think. I mean, if I want Quick Queue, I'll buy Quick Queue for the day. I don't need the 3 extra Quick Queue or whatever. That's a nice perk that if you want to buy the membership, I think you should be able to have the option to. But I don't think you should be obliged to, almost in our circumstances, if you want to visit other parks in their chain, that you have to go to this insane level tier membership. It's just kind of crazy. And the audience agrees. They think that there should be a season pass option. So indeed. So next week's weekly poll now will be something completely different. We're not going to go the route of, talking about something that we've already discussed on this week's show. We're going to go into something completely different. We're going to do a fun one, and that's a favorite type of park merchandise. So this can be model roller coasters, postcards, shirts, hats. Give us something that's your favorite park merchandise. You can even go into detail and talk about the specific one shirt that you really like. Just give us anything. If you like the nano coasters, tell us about that. Tell us about your favorite type of nano coaster. Just tell us your favorite park merchandise that you've ever bought. Me and Bob will also do that on next week's show. We're going to talk about that. That'll be fun. But of course, we want to hear you guys' responses as well. So if you want to give a response, go to coastertalkpodcast.com/poll and answer that poll. If you want to follow us on social media, you can do so by following us on Twitter at @coastertalk_pod, or you can follow Bob's Twitter account at coastertalkbob. Facebook, you can follow us at coastertalkpod. Instagram as well at coastertalkpod. If you want to contact the show with any comments, questions, or concerns, or if you want to leave an audio file with the show, you can do so by going to coastertalkpodcast.com/contact. If you want to email either me or Bob, you can go to james@coastertalkpodcast.com or bob@coastertalkpodcast.com to do so. Thank you guys all so much for listening to this week's episode of Coaster Talk Podcast. Again, we're not canceled. We will be back next week, better than ever. We'll see you guys all then.
All right.
I didn't mean you couldn't say anything, Bob. Jeez.
I couldn't. You talk about me going off. Holy crap! You were just like on. You're
oh
like,
my
oh,
god. Something normally I was waiting for you to just cut in. I just kept talking because I'm not going to just stop talking and then you just say nothing. So I was like, I'm just going to keep going with this. Normally you just cut me off and I'm like, all right, there he goes, and then I can just sit back and relax some. I was really waiting for that. I was waiting for you to go on a rant about SeaWorld a little bit, like a little bit. You didn't talk about him at all, really. I was like,
oh no, I wasn't talking about SeaWorld. I was talking about before Kentucky Kingdom. Like I couldn't get a word in edgewise, and then I did, and then you're like, oh yeah, and it was blah 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 blah. Like,
yeah, that's because
crap,
I went on a walk the other day and literally thought about what I was going to talk about there. So that was just like all pre-planned in my brain what I was talking about. So I just kind of had a speech there. That was my bad, but I mean, it's all right. That I wasn't talking about that. I thought you were going to go. That's why I kind of did that on purpose too, because I thought you were going to have the SeaWorld part more. Like I thought you were going to be like a little bit more.
I was kind of like, I don't know. I just through the Hollywood Nights thing, I was just kind of zoning out, and I'm like, all right,
Nice.
I need this Kentucky Kingdom thing to
You see how I
get me
feel?
back into it, and
That's how I feel like almost half the
whatever.
show. You're always like, James, are you listening to me? And I'm like, Bob, I just zoned out. Sorry. There's literally been episodes where you've been like, James, are you listening to me? And I'm like, or you'd be like, you were on your phone, and I'm like, yeah, because I was like, I couldn't. You've called me out for that before. I get you. I got you. I totally understand. I gotta go to Busch Gardens, Tampa. I'm gonna go to Florida next year, I think.
I tell myself that all the time.
I want to get down there really bad. I mean,
do
I planned on it this year. Old James is back.
Hmm?
I said old James is kind of back. Because I mean, there's been episodes where I didn't like. I'll look at the audio and it'll just be like, I'm like, I didn't talk at all. Why did I not talk? And I finally have an episode where I think I talked more than you. Like normal, it might be even. Sometimes it might be a little bit more, but I think I talked like a significant more amount than you did.
Oh, this time? Oh, absolutely. This was all you.
Crazy. Well, I mean, like when you did the Holiday World, you did a pretty big segment there. I didn't like that episode was pretty much all you talking. At least the second half. I don't remember the first half of that, but
Oh, I mean, what was I going to say during Holiday World here? Like you went like
yeah, I know.
you know,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
not
I don't expect you to. I didn't expect you to talk during that. I mean, I thought maybe you would. I mean, you did a little bit with the
yeah.
the masks and stuff, which was good. I mean, I don't think it's bad. I think some people might like that. Some episodes you talk more, some episodes I talk more. It just depends on the subject.
Yeah.
There are still some. There's definitely some points where it looks like you talked a while though, like 20 minutes in, it looks like you had a pretty big chunk, and then 45 minutes in, you had a pretty big chunk. Iron Gwazi. Yeah, I'm hoping Iron Gwazi opens earlier 2021 so that I can get there. It's not opening in 2020. I don't know.
No,
I think it might be. It's soft open in 2020. I still think that, but
no, I don't think it's going to open till spring.
we'll see though.
Or it'll be early spring, but yeah, I don't. All right, my audio is uploading.
I got you. Yeah. All right. He mistyped 2021. He said.
I got to get to Indiana Beach next year. I have to.
Yeah, we all do. Well, I'll do. Well, during after Hollywood Nights, that'll be like, or I guess I don't know. Keys of the Kingdom's after Hollywood Nights, so
We need
after,
to make it
after Keys of the Kingdom.
do a Kings Island trip with Indiana. I don't know what's near Indiana Beach.
Nothing.
What is that? Is that Coaster Cow? Is that what that site is? No.
I have like a Google Maps one that like.
Yeah, it's there. It is. Coastercow.com. Where is it? Holy crap. I can't find it.
I'll go on my Google Maps. Sure.
There's Holiday World. Huh. Indiana Beach isn't on the map.
Let me try to find it on my thing.
I wonder if they deleted it because it was closed and then they just haven't added it back in.
Indiana Beach is literally.
It got canceled.
It's near Six Flags Great America, kind of. That's the closest park. In Chicago?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it's not on Coaster Cow.
That's the closest thing to it. Or Kings Island. They're probably about I'd say it's closer to Great America, I mean.
Oh. So it's way up there.
Yeah.
It's probably we could do a Michigan's Adventure Indiana Beach trip.
Michigan's Adventure. I need to do Michigan's Adventure. I need to do Six Flags Great America, and I need to do Indiana Beach. Maybe we could do all three of those.
I wonder if there's a ferry across Lake Michigan.
I believe there is. I think me and my mom were looking at that because we were thinking about doing Michigan's
Mesquite
Adventure.
is so far out. from everything else.
What is?
Muskegon. That's where Michigan's
Yeah.
Adventure is. Go up to Wisconsin too. Mount Olympus.
There's a ferry. Lake Express high speed ferry. So we could like fly into Chicago, do Six Flags Great America, go across the river, go to Michigan's Adventure. We'd go across the lake and then come back, go down to Indiana Beach and then come back up. Or we could figure it out, maybe working out more than that, but
Where is Indiana Beach? What town is it in?
it's in Monticello. Looks like Monticello. Norway. It's in Norway, Indiana. I thought it was on a lake. It's on a river. I didn't realize that. Oh, it is a lake. That's weird. It's like a really narrow lake. Wait, is it a river? This is weird. It's like literally right where Indiana Beach is. It's a river and a lake. So it must like transfer into a lake.
What's the town called?
Norway.
Oh wait, hold on a second.
It looks like it's near the town of Norway, but it's in the county of Tippecanoe County. That's a funny Tippecanoe. It's spelled Tippy, like Tippy Canoe, but I believe you pronounce it Tippecanoe.
It's a Native American word.
You sure?
Tippecanoe, yeah.
That sounds like a play on words to me. Don't tip the canoe.
Is it? Oh, so Lake Schaefer is actually part of Tippecanoe River.
Yes. That's what I was saying, yeah.
That's interesting.
So it's not really a lake. It's really a river.
Oh, wait. It's not Lake Schaefer.
Yeah,
it's more of a bay. No, Indiana Beach is below it.
What? Indiana Beach is not below it. Indiana Beach is like on it. It's like right next to Lake Schaefer. You know, like Lake Schaefer's right there. And that's Indiana Beach. And then Tippecanoe River is right here as well.
Wait, well, look, scroll down. You'll see Lost Coaster of Superstitious Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another entrance. I see. It's over Honey Creek.
It's on both. And then on the other side of Lost Coaster is Tippecanoe River.
I need satellite view here.
I think the body of water. I think what happens is what's his name, Taylor from Coaster Studios, went on like a boat ride. He like canoed on this. So you start off there. You start off on the creek, and then you would like the other side of it's on the river though. Like you end up on the river.
Yeah, it's not Lake Schaefer. It goes down. If you switch to satellite view, you can see the parking lot's like up at the top.
I mean, it technically is on Lake Schaefer. Like the peninsula that it's on is on Lake Schaefer. It's the left side of it is on Lake Schaefer, or the upper side of it's on Lake Schaefer. But like not the park itself touches it, but Lake Schaefer is just part of the river.
So all of that. So even Honey Creek is considered like, I don't know. That's so weird.
It's all like a part of the same body of water. It's really weird why they named them all three different things. Lake Schaefer is not even a lake. It's literally it's just for some reason they call that little area right there a lake, and then it goes back into the river. It's really weird. I don't know why. It's like if they said the Chesapeake Bay and then they had like a little stream there, and like, oh, that's called the whatever. That's just weird.
I don't know.
Taylor was wearing a
It's
mask at Holiday World.
He takes his mask off for pictures, though. Like, it was like there was something about that, though.
I mean, I took off my mask. I mean, you're allowed to take your mask off for pictures. At least at like Dollywood and all the parks I've been to.
No, there was something that him and a couple other, I forget which channels, but like they took a picture without the masks on, and then they're like something came up and they like pointed to another picture that like, oh no, here's the picture of us with the mask on. It's like, well, but you had your mask, like people were just saying like you had your mask off for that picture, and you're like, no, we didn't. Like, it's a picture. Like, I don't care if you have another picture with the masks on, you still took your mask off for that picture.
But so what?
That was the whole thing. It, like, why would I don't like he was like trying to art. I don't know. It was just stupid. It was like,
Indiana Beach didn't require masks, though. So, I mean, as much as I think he should at that point, I mean, if everyone else around you is not wearing a mask, there's really nothing I mean, even if you wore a mask, it wouldn't really do that much good.
No, the mask is about protecting other people, not protecting yourself.
Yes, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. If every single other person in the entire park is not wearing a mask, someone else there is going to have something, and that's going to get transferred either way, even if you have your mask on.
Right. That's why when I was at Indiana Beach, I took my mask off because literally I was the only person. I saw one other group of,
In
there was like
Holiday World?
one family. Holiday World, yeah. I saw one other family come in with their mask.
Bastard, you went to Indiana Beach and didn't tell us?
Yeah, did I say? I'm sorry. I meant Holiday World. I was just irritated. I was so mad. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't go to Indiana Beach, hearing that they weren't really enforcing.
Timmy left. I'm a little sad.
All right, my audio's uploaded.
All right, cool. Oh, Timmy is still here. I looked in participants and you weren't there, so now you're here for some reason.
James is trying to write you off, Timmy.
Screw that guy. I'm done with him. I would say something, but this is going to be on the YouTube channel forever, so I don't want to say something that's, as much as we're not a family-friendly
Timmy
podcast.
got canceled.
Yep, Timmy Jung is done. No longer be friends with him. Nobody ever should associate with him. All right.
I wonder if Coaster Cal's going to add Indiana Beach back.
Do they have Fantasy Island on there?
Probably not.
That's I mean, that's technically, that's reopening next year.
Yeah, it is. What the heck? Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. That's England.
Oh, look, is there not one in New York?
No. Oh yeah, there it is. Fantasy Island, Grand Island, New York. Well, so what the heck? That's so weird.
Yeah, that is weird. They probably just miscommunication or something. Someone said they put it there and they didn't, or something. Something's up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, well. Oh, I need to see if the Celtics won. Shoot. They probably lost. They did. They lost by 1 point. You got to be kidding me. Oh. Man.
Skyliner's closed for the season. Why? Why?
Kidding me, man.
Why?
Cannot believe that. Oh, haha. That is sucky. Man, that sucks. If anyone didn't know, this sucks.
Whatever.
If you can complain about a coaster closing, I can complain about my team losing. Except the fact that this is a coaster-related podcast, so you have a little bit of more leeway there.
Mhm.
We really should consider doing an off-topic, like once a month or once every couple months or something. I think people might like that. Like right now, we could just literally record our conversation. It's off-topic. Talk about music or sports or not politics, but religion. And that's how Timmy gets sent to timeout. How do I undo it?
Oh, you can't.
It's all right. 30 seconds.
You deleted all his messages too.
I don't care. He deserved it. It's at the end. It won't be deleted until the end.
No, it'll retroactively.
He really got canceled. Yeah, he did. I think he
James
can
just
still watch
canceled
it though.
you.
He can respond
Huh?
in like 2 minutes. And he'll be like,
I
I
think
really
that
just
on the replay, I think it goes like all of his messages are gone now. Like if you watch, you know how it
nobody's
replays chat.
yeah, I think it does. Yeah.
Don't you? Isn't
Whoops.
there an undo button? No.
I feel like there should be. What if you accidentally did that? I mean, it's pretty easy to.
I
Oh,
can
I
view.
can. I can view deleted messages.
Yeah, but that doesn't restore it.
I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna look it up right now. What if I added him as a moderator? I feel like he could.
No, I think it's done. With great power comes great responsibility that James doesn't have.
Or I do have it. I like saying that better.
He did. He did abuse his powers.
Nobody said that.
Huh?
Who are you agreeing with?
What are you talking about?
You just said he did abuse his powers. He did. Like you were agreeing
Penguin
with.
said James abused his powers.
I don't see that on my end. Oh, now it just popped up.
So at Lakemont Park, it costs more to ride the go-karts than ride a roller coaster. I guess it costs more to ride the paddle boats than it does to ride a roller coaster. That's weird.
Timmy's a moderator now. I wonder how that works. Are you there, Timmy? Can you comment now?
Apparently not.
Looks like on his end he can still see all the messages. I wonder if he can. He's calling me. You don't rag on my Celtics, boy.
That was irresponsible.
Bob said I'm irresponsible, Timmy. And it's kind of dumb that they don't have an option to undo it. Like, what if you accidentally put someone in timeout? Like, if you accidentally, there's just like a couple of buttons. Like, what if you were trying to put them as a moderator and then you time them out or something? It's just. I'm removing your moderator privileges. How much time do you have left? It said 400 seconds. I feel like it's been more.
It's 300 seconds.
Yeah, 300 seconds.
I guess I am getting canceled and write a proper pick, which that he really got canceled.
It's 5 minutes.
I feel like it's been almost that time now.
No, I don't
He
think it
almost got me there.
He's almost there, he said.
is.
Someone said, Papa Penguin said, Kumba is overrated. Yeah, okay, now you can.
I want to ride Kumba.
All right, well, now that you can talk to me, farewell.
Farewell.
All right, so Timmy is back in town. Nothing's going to ever bring you down. Top 5 greatest experiences of all time, correct, Timmy? If you didn't hear Bob laugh out loud on the audio stream, now you know he was laughing out loud.
What?
You put LOL.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just, to be sure.
Just in case you didn't actually hear him. Also, when I wrote Kumba, I didn't check my blue shoulder restriction. Timmy said I can be a panelist next year for Keys of the Cancel Kingdom now.
Yeah.
You should write them and be like, I was canceled. I understand the pain and the suffering that you guys went through.
Did you see that Twitter exchange with BGW fans?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
I think it's pretty funny that they're a fan site and they've been canceled by them. But it's because they're not actually fans. They're critiques, I feel like. Like, I like them as a site, and I like that they release information, but they're definitely far from being what I would define.
Penny Packer did it too.
Did what?
He said something about being a panelist.
Penny Packer wasn't a panelist. Oh, you mean? Oh yeah, he did that. Oh my god, I hate him so much.
BGW fans is they're fans. I mean,
oh my gosh, well, Alex actually called them out for that, and they agreed with him. They were like, if we could change our name after so many years that we've been doing it, we would, because we're definitely not what people would call fans now. Because they're not. They don't. Half the stuff they report on is how bad Busch Gardens is. I swear to God, half of their tweets will always be like, "How can Busch Gardens?" Like one of their, they were writing like they were somehow like Loch Ness Monster. They were doing great COVID operations, and then the Loch Ness Monster, they were like, "We just got placed behind a group that."
Yeah, I mean,
that was they called it like astronomically, like disgusting. I mean, I'm like, that's disgusting.
My point is like fans can be critical.
I don't know. They agree that they're not the definition of like they are like since creating our site, the word fans has taken on a new meaning. Fans now means that you have to like love it to the full extent, and they're like, we definitely critique it a lot.
I mean, everything I see about Busch Gardens Tampa is kind of disturbing to me, honestly.
I was talking about Williamsburg.
I know they weren't.
They critiqued, but they literally said that Loch Ness Monster's operations during COVID were disgusting, and it wasn't. It really was. It was actually pretty good. So, and then they said Finnegan's Flyer was a joke, and I was like, they were literally ruining every other. They were literally ruining every other thing. Go back and watch when they first, like the first day they. Yeah, like they were disgusting because they were like, oh, they called it disgusting. If they called it like we're not happy with it or something, disgusting is like pretty strong word to use. I wouldn't use that word for anything in the theme park industry, really. Unless it was like food or something that like actually just was disgusting or something. Like I wouldn't use that to describe anything in the like roller coaster wise or park wise. They were happy on Griffin and Invader though. They were, yes. I remember that.
They had a lot of
I was with you, so I remember we were talking about that. But they also go against the park itself and they release information. So I mean,
Oh yeah,
that's not really being a fan either. Like that's why they get canceled because they do stuff like that, which I'm happy they do. But
I mean, the thing is though, I think they give more exposure to Busch Gardens than Busch Gardens gives themselves sometimes, I think.
yeah. I think like BGW Insiders will be a good name because they get insightful information and they do reviews and they do all that kind of stuff. But they're not like hardcore fans. I feel like are people that like praise something to the point that like they do know. Like I would never like I guess I
See,
consider
that's not a fan.
I don't know.
Well,
That's how they define it too. I don't know if I actually would now that I think about it. I might actually retort my statement and say that there are actually fans because I'm a Beatles fan and there are definitely Beatles songs that I don't think are good songs and that I've critiqued
Right.
and don't like.
I mean,
But,
like
I agreed with Alex when he said that, but I don't actually think I agree with that anymore. I don't agree with their own assessment of that.
I mean, I'm
But I feel like I'd
fair
never
fan.
call a Beatles song disgusting though. I would never say anything the Beatles did was disgusting or like I might be like, yeah, I don't like that song or like, and I can understand them saying, yeah, I don't like that or I don't like this. But they were like, they sometimes go on rant
They're
stuff.
coming from a different. I don't know. You don't. I mean, you take the pandemic seriously, but not as serious as some people, and that's kind of a. I mean, there's somebody that really takes it seriously. Like that is disgusting. You know, not sanitizing or stuff like that. Like
They were sanitizing.
I understand
What they were doing is with the Loch Ness Monster, they were for some reason they were roading like they were loading like like the full like the like the 2 seats in each car. So like you would get assigned to a car and then like another group behind you would be also and then they would social distance the other car in the middle of those 2 cars. So every car was being filled up, not every other row.
Yeah,
And they were like, that's disgusting.
I mean,
I think it's dumb too, but it's not like like I wasn't like, oh, like this shouldn't be like, oh, appalling. This is call for like anarchy. Like it's just like the way they worded it. Like this. If they said, "Hey, Busch Gardens improve on this," that would have been cool. But it's like the word choice I think was poor because I mean, other than that, Busch Gardens Williamsburg did some of the best.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing, they've done a pretty good job.
And since then, they've changed that and they've done the Loch Ness Monster was every other row. But I just think it was poor wording. And then they're like, "Oh, it's insane that you're sitting behind the people on Finnegan's Flyer," and I'm like, "That's how." I mean, you can't. There's no way to do that. I mean, you want them to literally on Finnegan's Flyer, they'd have to literally load like 3 people on each car if you actually want it to be like nobody's behind you or even because if for Finnegan's Flyer, if they didn't load behind you, you would just have to fill up like 1 row on each side, and that's like no point in running the ride then. So
yeah.
that's literally like that's not the and either way, you're not facing the person and and you have to wear a mask on the ride. So it's like, come on, man, that's not that big of a deal. And even with Loch Ness Monster, I'm like, the people in the front of us were all wearing masks and stuff. And they were, I mean, I wouldn't say they're 6 feet, but they're definitely not, they're like 3 or 4 feet. So, I mean, that's still like, I don't call that disgusting. In fact, they were like, what is disgusting, I would say, what's something I would say is, I mean, in terms of the pandemic, I don't know if I personally believe, but something that I could okay with them using this word for is when we talked about a couple weeks ago in Busch Gardens Tampa saying that they're going to allow the single riders have to ride with another party. That's like, what the hell, man? This is like that's kind of disgusting. Like that's
But
like
that's the same as putting another party in the row behind you. I mean,
not
that's
really.
just as bad.
I don't think so
Yeah.
because I don't think it is because you're like I just said, you're like the row in front of you is like 4 or 5 feet in front of you. Everyone's wearing masks. It's not like you're actually directly standing with them in line and you're directly sitting next to them during the coaster. I think it's very different. Got really good ear time. Yeah, I think
I
Griffin in the back
prefer-
row is actually underrated.
Griffin's,
Griffin as a ride, just yeah, but it's definitely the best seat on it. I think is the back. The front's really good too. They're both good. The middle sucks though.
So we can unanimously decide that you don't ever want to ride in the middle.
Exactly. I mean, who would ride? No one rides any coaster in the middle if they can so choose. So
I do on Millennium Force.
no, you don't. You ride towards the back, but you ride in the middle to the back.
Yeah, it's more middle than it is back.
Not if we're talking about the same seat, but that was the magical seat from a bunch of people were riding there during ERT. That was the only line in ERT that had. I mean, I was the only row during the ERT session I got that outline.
No, seriously, Millennium Force.
It was like 4 or 5
and on dive coasters. Okay, I'm glad you qualified that with on dive coasters. I get it now.
That's what I'm saying. I was talking about dive coasters, but either way, the Millennium Magic seats towards the back, and the Magnum seats towards the back too. And even Phoenix at Knoebels, me and Timmy found that row 10 was actually the best row. I mean, you were there too.
Oh,
so
you and I found. Yeah, well, yeah, we all.
It was all three of us. Whatever. I don't remember who rode with who the first time, but us as a group figured that out. So I mean, but that's towards the back still. I wouldn't like dead in the middle on a coaster is like the worst place to be though. Like dead center.
Millennium Force dead center's nearly as good. I rode
it in the middle and I didn't think it was that good, but where I rode it in that seat that guy told me to was great though. That was like 4 or 5 up from the back though.
No, see, I ride like if you find them, I forget what the number is, but it's like you find the dead center, like the absolute middle, and then go like one car back.
Oh god,
that's
no.
Just yeah.
Oh, Magic seat for Millennium is not that, in my opinion. And all the Ace people that were there, literally, it was the only row in the entire during the year. Every other row had no line, but for some reason that row, like 4 or 5 up from the back, had a line. Like there was like 5 or 6 people in it at all times. That was my experience with it. And I rode in like every row because I rode it like 30 times that night. We got so much ERT on it. And like half the people that were supposed to be there didn't show up because it was raining. So like half the aces were like, we're just gonna stay at our hotel. It's supposed to be Steel Vengeance ERT, so I'm kind of mad still, but
yeah. I'd rather ride Millennium Force than Steel Vengeance for ERT.
No, I wouldn't. So I'm glad. All right, guys. I think we're gonna end it here. I gotta go get something to eat. And
I need food too. I'm hungry.
Timmy has to go now. All right, well, we're gonna end it then, just because Timmy has to go.
If Timmy has to go, then we're just gonna end it all.
We're just gonna end our life. Bye, Timmy. Bye, everybody.
Right, we'll see you next week. Have a good week.